Welcome back, guys, to Dicesolation. Today we're playing an actual game of Dungeons and Dragons, a dark fantasy game set in a world built by myself. We're currently in the state of Chalterra with our characters Jet,
Hi.
Malik,
Hello.
Hideon,
Oh, hello there.
Hector,
Hello.
Kurdiak,
Hey.
and Equinox.
What do you want?
Now, this is a game that we've played in real life for some time, but have kind of brought over onto this platform during our current situation of isolation. And so we thought we'd bring it to you guys for a little bit more enjoyment. And so the best thing to do would be to catch you up with what previously happened on Kingsman. The team met at a marsh-like swamplands known as Nuar, a former paradise and glorious sweet water croplands. The team investigated under the watchful eye and guidance of Uther Durnigan, an ex-Kingsman Goldpluck member, and found that creatures were coming out of a strange temple infected with a strange mind-controlling spore-like mold. After further investigation, they found that a creature had been trapped and banished to the temple after cursing the central lake in an act of revenge against her ex-lover. They promised to free her if she would leave, and in doing so, coerced a guard into the temple, took his body, and freed the ancient fey creature, and thus releasing the curse. After these events, Uther received a personal message from the king to assist a large force of silver and gold plaque heroes in investigating the goings-on at Fardyke Outpost, a town on the borders of the formidable and dangerous smouldering boundary. Uther opted out at the behest of his current party, and led the group to the outpost. Along the way, they met a naked druid posing as a raven and adopted him. Ran into some trouble along the road and learned that the druid was a shepherd for the dead, in servitude to Rhaena, the current Raven Queen, in my world of course, and god of the passage to death. A few of the party members were stunned to find out further information on a personal more backstory level from their respective stories and eventually made it to the Fardyke Outpost. Once upon arriving, the team saw it fit to split into two teams. A scouting party consisting of Uther, Kurdiak, and Jimmy Gatz on the outer walls, and another group going into the mines underneath the outpost. This scouting party would first go into the outlying and relatively harmless fallen town on the outskirts of the city. The group eventually were ambushed by a group of refugees and escapees under the care of a somewhat dubious female named Donna Febowitz. They additionally met a gentleman named Hunter who was attempting to free his son and the rest of his people from the Fardyke Outpost. They learnt that this hooded figure that had taken over had led an army of orcs and specialized demons known as Faceless Horrors into the town, and in but a few days had taken the entirety of the city and most of its inhabitants hostage. The hooded figure now uses orcs as warriors and the residents as slaves to mine the specially enchanted ore from the Fardyke Fissure Mine. Fardyke Fissure Mine. It is rumored to be a gateway to another plane of existence. The team ventured into the city in an attempt to save the Baron, Unon Fredericks Durnigan, related to Uther Durnigan, their current leader. And a lot of stuff went down and went wrong. However, they were able to rescue the Baron and escape through a passage that led out the back of the courtyard through the royal blacksmith's chambers. The team then found themselves venturing back into the walls of the castle with Hunter in order to free the Baron's son, who was left behind. Upon investigating, Hunter saw the Baron's son about to be executed in place of the Baron for his escape in an attempt to save him. The Baron's son was killed and the Kingsmen caused a riot that led the miners deep into the mines, collapsing the mines on the pursuing orcs and freeing a good portion of the prisoners. However, repercussions were strong. The hooded figure, revealed to be a Shadar Kai, knowing a member of the party's family, had come and attacked them. The only way to save the townspeople they had just rescued was to surrender. They went to this hooded figure who did an evil bad guy monologue, but they were unable to defeat him. In a last-ditch attempt, Hideon Peaceveil contacted his patron, a warlock patron known as the Lady in Red, who happened to be Desi's, which in her female form is a devil of some sorts with a divine descendancy who runs over the nine hells, and in her male her male form, who is a he, is a god who is basically the god of the nine hells. Now knowing that she is the one who gives them power, they beseeched her for help. She called in a contact by the name of Kanzai, who was known as the Time Weaver. He allowed them to go back a couple of months to retry the events in which they just did. However, the Shadar Kai caught on and was able to go back in time with them. But further, The Shadowkai got to Far Reich first, and this time, instead of attacking with orcs, he became friends with the Baron, told the Baron that the orcs would attack, and orchestrated this as an advisor, and decided to bring down Far Reich from within instead of from the outside. The Kingsmen had a hard time bringing down this evil foe, but in a last-ditch attempt, they curb-stomped him in a battle, freezing him in place and beating the ever-living life out of him. They won the battle, freed him, and with the Baron's son's help, convinced the Baron that all was right. The Baron then gave them as a present some specialized weapons, as well as a manor within the Far Reich area itself that did belong to the Shadowkai, so now they have their own place of lodging. And they were free to explore. We now have our party on their way after Uther and Jay had left to go on some more dubious business. The Kingsmen themselves have a few days of respite and head off into Far Reich to see the new manor that they now own. Now, the one person not in this group is Malik. Malik is not a Kingsman. He is just a young man trying to do good in the world. A young, wholesome, friendly, a little bit kind of hard to look at for some people with more of a racist disposition, especially in Chalterra. Chalterra has a lot of laws. Chalterra has a lot of forbidden gods to worship, a lot of things you can't do. Wizards, you can't be a wizard unless you have permission from the king or some of his advisors, because learning magic is evil, and you should not be able to learn magic unless you have the permission of the king and his people. Being a warlock is dark magic, and therefore that's off the table, but, you know, my party doesn't care about that stuff, so here we are. And paladins and clerics, it's almost as if you are nobility in and of itself, because the gods have given you their divine essence and spirit to bring their good and holy word to the world. However, this young man, Malik, if you'd like to describe yourself as you enter the Far Reich outpost.
Hello. So Malik is...
Speaking up there, buddy.
Speaking up. Malik is of average build. If you were just to gloss over him, you would notice that he is quite an odd-looking person, standing about 6 foot tall. Very light pale skin with dark black hair that for some reason has red streaks through it. Although it's a very unnatural occurrence, you would notice, though, on closer inspection, that these red streaks aren't something that he's added to his hair, and it's just part of his person. Looking at Malik's face, he is very well kept, likes to keep himself clean. However, you would notice upon looking at him further that one of his eyes doesn't have the white in it. It's black with a red pupil, whereas the other eye would be very, very clear and very light blue. Yeah.
All right. And as you head in, you've heard of the tales, the adventures, and the success of this group of Kingsmen, wanting to know them and at least, you know, help do good in the way that these people seem to be doing good. You had ventured to Far Reich Outpost. Shane. You had ventured to Far Reich Outpost to find them. Now, the Kingsmen, you guys are currently at the entryway to your manor, a large gated-off manor within Far Reich itself. Far Reich is a very stacked place, buildings on buildings on buildings on buildings, but this itself seems to be in more of its own certain location. Obviously, this Shadowkai had become quite a respected noble during his lying time here, and he had accrued quite a lovely place for himself. A 2-story manor with an outer courtyard and what seems to be a few guard posts along the outer gates, almost like its own citadel within the citadel. You guys approach. With the keys to the gates, you are able to enter and open up onto the courtyard. However, as you guys enter, Malik, when you entered Far Reich, you had sensed a very intense celestial presence in this place. Celestial presence that could not go unchecked, especially with your predisposition to celestial presences, and you had headed off in this direction. You had arrived at this location, the manor itself, a few moments before they had, kind of knowing the trajectory in which they were heading. You had deduced that this was the manor in which they were arriving at, and you had made your way into the courtyard itself. And now, sitting by one of the picnic tables in the courtyard, you see the group of people enter. You see their silver plaques emblazoned on their armor, showing them off as silver-plaqued Kingsmen, quite a decent rank for such newly appointed Kingsmen. And you would see that very center of this group is this intensely celestial kind of vibing guy. Except he looks like this, Hideon, if you'd like to describe yourself.
Well, I am. I look rather normal, except for I've got red freckles on my face that look almost like lava. They kind of sparkle as such. I've got golden hair as well. But other than that, I look quite normal, but obviously quite strange at the same time. Yes.
Yes, he looks like your average kind of farm boy. Doesn't have anything special about him, but he gives off this very divine presence.
What color hair has he got?
Golden.
Golden blonde
Golden.
hair. It's got some bits of like strawberry red in there, but nothing too magnificent. He's kind of just like your normal like your straw blonde farm boy.
Yes.
The red freckles definitely stand out a little bit to you, but besides that, doesn't look too bad. And surrounding him, you see the rest of the Kingsmen, starting off with Jet.
Around him, you'd see a guy about 5'9". He's got a red kind of bandana tied around around his hair. His hair's white, like that kind of like silvery white kind of color, kind of pushed back a little bit out of his just wearing kind of like a workman's shirt, some very thick gloves. Has two scimitars attached to either hip, and has a scimitar hilt kind of just hanging off his belt. A backpack, and a backpack that's probably like that's big, but not like insanely huge. And he doesn't. He seems to be probably, I'd say, the most under armored of everyone else in the group, even Hideon, because Hideon's got his like dope ass sword, doesn't he?
Yes, Hideon does have a very, very large sword strapped to his back.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a large sword with a dark black metal blade, two skulls on either side that kind of face towards the blade. A very daunting looking weapon.
Jet looks more like he would be better fit in a town than an adventurer right now.
Okay.
All right, and then we have Hector.
Hector is a half orc, so he is green, dark green. He's kind of got longish, mossy hair, but the tusks have been filed back as if to try and, disguise the fact that he's an orc, or get at least make him look like he's a respectable kind of gentleman. He has got some very impressive armor that's been made. It's studded. Attached is a green velvet cape that is attached with some little H's that stand for Hector. Very gentlemanly, very much just kind of wants to do the right thing. And you can tell that he's kind of trying to avoid the fact that he's an orc and kind of go in the direction of being a bard instead.
Okay. Then we have another larger figure, much like Hector, Kodiak.
Kodiak is probably about the same size as Hector. Just a bit odd looking, not like the general population around here. It's very definitely cops the looks from the crowd and the general folk. It's got long, flowy brown hair with like a beaded like a braid, on his right side there with like a black feather hanging from it, emerald green eyes, and yeah, kind of he's got the like a nomad drapes, like he's not really bothered by armor and all that stuff, and he carries a great axe on his back with another big sword with it as well.
Yes, this sword is the Frostbrand, I believe.
Yes.
Which has some sort of feline-like pommel that has like a kind of like a leopard face that's opening in a growl outwardly, and the blade itself is blue and gives off a very cold vibe. Leaving last but not least, the shadows seem to cling to him. The light doesn't seem to want to touch him. We have Equinox.
Excellent. So Equinox, when you sort of first look at him, you notice he's obviously elf, with his pointed ears and whatnot. Except he has a different shade of skin to most of the other elves that you see. And it ends up being a bit of like a gray, almost charcoal colored skin. He stands at about 5'9", about 65 kilos. He isn't bulky by any means, but he certainly looks athletic and quite agile. His hair is like a medium length, long black hair, quite straight. But the right side of his head is being like just shaved. Yeah, just a shaved side on the right. When you look at his eyes are completely black, except for the irises, and both his eyes are orange, but they sort of glow, sort of like gemstones with like light shining. Okay. He seems to have like tattoos all over his body, but most particularly, you notice his left hand. The palm of his left hand has multiple scars all through it, sort of like something's been like cutting his hand open multiple times. Some scars look like they're faded and healed, but some look more fresh compared to those ones as well.
Edgy.
Yeah, he's the typical edge lord. He wears black leather armor, and strapped to his back is a large, heavy crossbow. While he also has another crossbow, sort of just, I guess, holstered on his belt, and looks to be like a rapier as well, holstered on his person as well.
All right. So, Kingsman, you guys arrive at your manor, and you are surprised to see this figure sitting within the courtyard of your manor, as you were not expecting company so soon. And, well, Malik, the amount of celestial radiance coming off this figure in the center, although it is strong, it does seem somewhat perverted, as if the celestial magic itself is not being used in the purest of ways. As you guys get this vibe, it is definitely a strange encounter, but you see before you Malik, and Malik, you see before you the Kingsman.
Oh, hello there. I'm Hideon Peacevale. Nice to meet you.
I stand up and as you guys notice, I'm very much not from around here. I've got no weapon. I've got a shield on my back too.
Bit closer to the mic, please.
I've got no weapon and a shield on my back, so no weapons here. I stand up and I, speaking in Celestial, ask, "Who here has been touched by an angel?" See if anyone replies.
What's this guy saying?
So,
No idea.
I've got no idea what he's saying.
Actually, he didn't.
I've got no idea at all.
You would, he didn't, because you speak Celestial.
I know, I'm trying to hide it right now.
Can I? I'm looking around for a reaction here.
Exactly, I'm not replying. I'm going, what on earth is happening?
Kodiak, do you speak English? Do you speak Common? Sorry.
There's just something strange about the essence around this area that drew me here. I'm sorry if I've overstayed my welcome. My name is Malik, and I'll reach out my hand to Kodiak because he's the one talking.
Cool. I give you a burly forearm shake.
Oh,
Thick
very
old
bad.
hand wraps around your forearm.
Nice to meet you. Why are you here?
I've been traveling around the lands trying to help out where I can. However,
No, Fraser, don't robot. This is so good.
Oh my god, he's a robot.
really?
He's a robot.
Am I
He's a
roboting?
robot,
Wait.
guys. He's
A little.
you
Guys,
found out.
run!
He's actually.
Can
he's
you?
an
Am I
automaton.
good now?
You all good now, yeah.
I walk around. I've been trying to do good throughout the lands, and as I've been helping people, more and more I've been hearing about this group of individuals named the Kingsmen, and through investigation I found that I could find you here. And I wish to see if I may be of any assistance to your group.
Well, it's surprising that you guys are so famous, huh? You met these guys like what, a day ago, technically?
I mean, the Kingsmen is a large group. It's not just us. We are a small party.
Could I do an insight check
Oh,
to see if this guy, seems legit about helping people?
Go for it.
Not-
Roll an insight check, both Hideon and Equinox.
Oh, here we go. First roll.
Hideon, you look at this guy and you're like, God, this guy looks absolutely wonderful.
Right. Oh, how did you make that insight?
You just click on
You
it.
click on it.
Oh. You're right. Did I roll though? I think I rolled, hey.
You're 9, yeah.
Ah, okay, never mind.
Just roll the insight. Just because you
Okay.
didn't roll that correctly anyway.
Just so you figure it out, kind of
I'm
thing.
learning.
10.
And
Yeah, I'd say
It's
this
better
guy
before.
seems very upfront, very like he's not trying to hide anything. Doesn't seem like he is. He's not giving off the vibes that you as a Shadow Kai have kind of received from people trying to hide information from you. He seems honest, very earnest with his approach.
I apologize if me intruding on you has made you feel uncomfortable. Unfortunately, when asking around, you don't tend to find the most accurate of information. If you guys are not part of the Kingsmen or in any way looking for any help, I can go elsewhere to try and see if I can maybe have assistance anywhere else.
Let's get rid of this guy, quick!
Okay, thanks.
Yeah,
And that's Malik, guys. Thanks. This is good.
Kodiak says, "Well, we are a part of the Kingsmen. Again, as I said, we are only a party of the large group."
As I'm talking,
And I show him the badge.
Okay, as I'm talking, I'm also sussing out where this like energy's coming from. Can I pinpoint it at all?
Oh yeah, it's Hideon.
It's Hideon.
Yeah,
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Okay, it's definitely Hideon.
it's definitely Hideon. You can you're there and you've approached and you've given Kodiak a handshake and you can see this aura around. It's almost like this gold aura that seems to have this red bleed on the outside, almost as if the gold aura is being corrupted somehow.
Okay, and I can very much see that he's he caught on to what I said, but he didn't want to say anything.
Oh, well, I mean, I didn't really make it obvious. I was joking around, but I was literally not paying
It's hard to discern what Hideon does in and out of the game, so I just assume at this point with our games that whatever Hideon says in Hideon's voice is Hideon in the game. So yeah, you would have gathered that he's a little bit caught off guard by your speech. Whether or not he understands it, he's caught off guard by the Celestial.
Okay. I turn to the whole group and go,
I will be staying at an inn not too far away from here, so if you were about to go for a job or need any assistance, I can very much care for myself out in the world, but I would also be very willing to help.
I want to now talk to Malik in Celestial and ask him who he is really.
Go for it.
Who are you really, Malik?
I, in Celestial, say,
I would like to ask you the same thing. For someone with such a perverse aura, you should not be ashamed, my friend, of who you really are.
and then I'm gonna go off into Varric and go to an inn.
Okay.
So these guys are like freaking whack, aren't they? They're just talking in gibberish. It's like,
I speak Elvish to Equinox and say, "What are these
no,
guys?"
we're just bringing out all our
Just bring
languages.
out all the
back.
languages,
I'm just going to screw myself.
Sorry, what'd you say?
I'm just going to say to you in Elvish, what are these guys on about? You think there's connection?
I have no idea.
Do I hear this walking away, or am I gone?
You would have left pretty abruptly.
Yeah, cool. I smiled, by the way, when Hideon spoke in Celestial.
Mhm.
Just
Okay.
like okay.
When they're talking in Elvish, I just pipe in. I'm like, this I can understand.
Do you think it would be wise for one of us to maybe follow this gentleman?
I'll do it. I mean, I'll do it.
We're in it. Do you understand Elvish?
That was Elvish, brother.
Oh, my bad.
I mean, he
I mean, I
doesn't
gotta-
seem harmful.
I gotta go pick up some supplies later on anyway, so it's just a trip for me.
I mean, the main inn in town, you would know what and where that is, Kodiak. So if you wanted to find him, you'd know where to find him.
Yep. I think if we want to, we can. For now, I reckon we should go investigate our new
Too easy.
home.
I hope they've got a forge here. That'd be awesome.
You immediately see no area where a forge would be. Unfortunately, they very much need like outdoor areas with a large kind of like fireplace, chimney kind of stuff. You see very small, homely chimneys. You're like, nah, it's not looking.
You guys
good.
don't mind if I knock out into make a forge, right? We'll start attempting to.
No, actually, that would be much appreciated, because the new armor that you had smithed for me. And I pull out the broken armor that sort of did not fit the wolf form of
Yes.
Equinox.
Yep.
It,
I do one
Wow.
nice thing for you. I do a nice thing. Okay, sure, I'll fix it for you.
Okay. You take the armor and you guys head inside the manor. 2-story manor. Like as soon as you enter the large foyer area, you see there's a large red carpet, very gaudy. Large red carpet that leads to a staircase that goes up and branches off into 2 different directions, where you would assume on the second floor, probably bedrooms and amenities. On the first floor, turning to the left, there is a large, studious library, books covering the walls, as well as a couple of desks and high-backed, kind of velvet cushioned chairs. Everything's adorned in red, and you can see that there is a tapestry on the wall that is depicted in the Shadow Kai's own image, but you can see there are other figures. There is a Shadow Kai, there is a second Shadow Kai behind him, Uther is to the left, and the king is kind of foremost in the picture. And you can see that it is a picture of the original form of Kingsman before the prince became the king and formed the Kingsmen. This was his original adventuring party, consisting of Equinox's father, the Shadow Kai you defeated, Uther, and the king. The tapestry hangs in the library. To the right-hand side of the entryway foyer, you have the dining hall and kitchen area. The kitchen area is stocked, and it has multiple areas for cooking, boiling, frying, all that kind of stuff, as well as a large dining table with a high-backed red velvet, red-cushioned chair made out of a very, very refined dark ash wood. It's basically like a throne at the end of this table, while the rest of the chairs themselves are very, although look nice, they're very quaint in their appearance compared to the large, high-backed chair. Going up the stairs, there is a glass-stained window aback that, seemingly giving off what seems to be the depiction of a very dark-skinned female, very familiar to the Shadow Kai as Eclipse, which is the goddess of magic and the moon. On this glass-stained window, then it branches off, obviously, into the bedrooms, to the amenity areas. There is a master bedroom and a bunch of different spare bedrooms, enough to fit the whole Kingsman plus 2.
Excellent.
So 8 bedrooms in total.
Sorry, go on.
I was going to say, let's investigate and just double check the master bedroom.
Okay.
Do I?
Master bedroom.
Oh, sorry. I was just gonna see if I could detect any sort of magic as well on the way, or.
Are you going to cast the...
Oh, I don't have a detect magic spell.
I do.
Okay.
Okay, so you're going to use your new ability, Cripsy?
Yes, correct. Yeah.
Which is...
hang on. What is it? Eldritch Sight. Sorry.
Excellent. Okay, so casting
The
Eldritch
man.
Sight, you take a few seconds to cast Detect Magic, and heading from, probably following Kodiak into the master bedroom, you do not detect any signs of magic in the master bedroom. Kodiak, roll me an investigation check as you approach the master bedroom. Double doors leading in, a large 4-poster bed with red silk and satin sheets and quilts. Fabric kind of hanging from the top of the 4 posters around the bed. Large dresser. You can see this guy's aesthetic is very much grey, black, and red. With a 13, you find nothing amiss in this bedroom. He's basically got clothes. He's got a few study notes that are written down. But it seems almost as if this place has been removed of any items that might have really related to him. There are no actual written notes or signed notes. There's just a writing desk with the ability to write. There is the bed, a few leftover clothes, but almost as if this place has been cleaned before given to you.
Okay, I just point out the notes to Equinox. Maybe you should check this out.
Yeah, can I go over and take a look at if there's anything interesting in
You
these
can.
notes?
These notes were notes between him and the leader of the Highlands. So in the Highlands, you obviously have Eclipse, which is the main city. In Eclipse, there is a group of leadership figures. It isn't a one rule everything. There is a different leader for each of the races that sit in this council. The Shadow Kai leader seemingly has been messaging the Shadow Kai that you had met before and has been keeping in contact with him. The messages go through certain plans to overthrow Farreich and the Smoldering Boundary, have the Smoldering Boundary incur from the north so it makes it easier for the Southern Darklings to come up from the south, Basically, just plans that look like they were set in place to put Chaltera and Severe, the capital, in a bit of trouble, so that the Darklings have a bit more freedom to move around and do what they want in the south.
Yeah. Okay.
It also does bring up the mention of Jade Dragon again.
Okay.
As if these people are also looking for it. It is a power that is quite formidable and strong that they are trying to find, but they can't get to it because the humans have Fort Dungeon and Fort Alcazar, which do constant routes near the Starcrest Spire that keep the Darklings from getting too close to it.
Okay. Does it mention anything of the Shadow Kai's name or seal or anything that gives up his identity?
No, it doesn't. It doesn't give off his name or his seal identity.
Okay.
Even you've heard of his name when you were younger. It's just not coming to your mind at the moment because you were young when it was spoken, and it wasn't spoken in a favorable manner.
Okay.
Yeah, this was quite a time ago when he worked with your father, and after that, well, after you tried to assassinate the king and your father and Uther took the fall for it, they weren't in the best of name basis.
Yeah. Okay.
No, Kodiak just says to Equinox, "This might be a good room for you," and I walk off and find the next room.
Okay. Going room by room, over the next 20 minutes with Hideon's Detect Magic, you find no magical sources anywhere except for the library. If you'd like me to roll me another investigation check, Kodiak, just for a sweep of the house.
1 second.
I'm outside, by the way.
Oh, good.
Hey.
Okay. You do find in the library that the hint of the magic seems to be a book on the shelf of the library. Now, approaching the book, it doesn't seem to have any discolorations or runes or anything that would show that it's magical. But by taking the book off the shelf and opening it up inside, you do find that there is a magical gem inside the book. It is a false book. It's a case that holds things. And the gem itself, with an investigation of 17, looks like it would fit above the mantelpiece inside the living room, almost as if a key.
I try and get everyone to come inside and relay
Okay.
what I find.
Jet's outside, but for the most part, I think everybody's with you.
Yeah, I'm in there.
Jet.
I'm like trying to fix Equinox. I'm like, I can just fix him.
You don't particularly have the
break-
right stuff on you.
I'm
and
casting
like,
mending on it.
it was not just ripped, but like he turned into like a werewolf. Yeah, it's gonna take some time and the right materials and the right location.
I've got leatherworker's tools and smith tools. So I'm
Right,
essentially
but it's
what I
not
can
going to
with.
be an on-the-job thing. You might have to go back to your forge if you really want to. If it's really worth your time fixing this, you want to go to the forge.
Yeah, no, I'm just.
Oh yeah, it's worth your time. Not so bad.
You do hear Kodiak calling you from inside.
I'll kind of get up. Okay, I'll fix it later. And I'll kind of walk on over.
Alright.
Yeah, what's the matter?
So we found this. Show the gem,
Mhm.
and it seems like this can go into that.
Do I know
I
what
said-
kind of gem it is?
Seems to
I
be
hand it over.
It seems to be a cut ruby, like a cut
Cut
yet
ruby.
refined ruby. Nothing too special about it. Hideon is getting a magical vibe from it. You can see, Hideon, that as you're looking at it, it is giving you a magical presence. The magic itself seems to be transmutation in nature.
Okay.
So transmutation being a magic that changes one thing to another thing.
Okay, right. I relay that information to the rest of the Kingsmen.
So if it's transmutation, it probably just means it's probably not what it looks like, or it fits into something to not what it looks like. That's usually
Well-
what this kind of stuff does.
It fits into this and point it out.
Yeah, the mantle
Yes, but-
place, it seems the mantle place itself has an area for this ruby to be placed into.
But with this being said, I mean, does that sound like a good idea, or could this be some sort of trap?
Can I check for traps as he says that?
Yeah, go for it, by all means. Roll me an investigation check.
Investigation.
Oh,
Ew, groovy.
Wow. Yeah.
Oh, not 20, baby.
what?
Is-
Sick.
You guess that it would have been harder to find with traps that would have been placed originally, but with the Baron's men coming in and kind of looting most of what belonged in here, you probably see that traps have already been activated or disarmed. It doesn't seem that it's trapped. The ruby itself seems like it would fit perfectly into the slot. But yeah,
That slot
it
could be in.
it seems okay. Doesn't seem trapped.
It doesn't seem like there's any danger to us here.
I slot the ruby in.
Okay. You put the ruby in, and it slots in, and you hear this. And you can see as this happens, stones seem to shift, and a magical aura surrounds the mantle place itself. It shifts, and the stone itself melts and seems to readjust its shape, transmuting and transforming into something else. And you watch as instead of a fireplace with a mantelpiece, you now have a small, what seems to be halfling-sized doorway that leads downstairs into what seems to be a hidden basement.
Oh, okay. Can
Is it a-
wait?
is it
So,
a-
so the door's closed. Is it locked?
No, it's just an open
That's
archway.
no.
An open archway.
Yeah, it's like an open doorway.
Is it dark, or can we see kind of down the stairs?
All those with dark vision can see very clearly. There isn't any sources of light from inside, but with the light coming in and your dark vision, you can see quite clearly that's just a staircase that goes down into what seems to be a basement area.
Could I potentially use my my heightened senses, like smelling or hearing, to see if there's if I sense anything weird down there?
Okay, sure. At this point, Hideon, after the 20 minutes that it's taken to do all this, you would have run out of your use of the Eldritch Sight for now.
Gotcha.
Damning blast.
It's Eldritch Sight. You can cast it at will, so you can do it again if you wanted to. Yeah, roll a perception check. Equinox.
Yep, just did.
23? Okay. You do hear from inside what seems to be the soft kind of movement of water and the smell of stale air. There is a bit of a hint of some sort of scented candle that would have been lit down there previously, but you don't hear movement, you don't hear footsteps, you don't hear any traffic of a living kind.
Can I?
Yeah, go on.
Sorry, I was going to say, can I use Divine Sense?
Okay. How big is Divine Sense?
60 foot.
60 feet? Okay. Besides you guys now, because obviously you guys have made a deal with a half god, half devil. So besides you guys, there is no celestial presence, there is no fiendish presence, and there is no fey presence, I believe.
Or undead.
Or undead, sorry. Yeah, there is no undead presence in there. You would get, though, a slight weird sensation kind of curl at the back of your neck that there is a celestial presence that isn't 60 feet around you. It is 60 feet around your partner.
Okay.
There is a new celestial presence, and it is within 60 feet of your partner.
Okay, good to know.
Interesting.
I just pass on that there doesn't seem to be any anything that I can sense down there.
Alright.
And I walk through.
Okay, you guys head down, and within the threshold of this, you see the room. It's a very small room, probably only 15 by 15 foot. And in the center, there is a marble pedestal with a water basin on it. The water basin itself is filled with this pure, almost, you only see the liquid because you can see the shimmering on the surface. If it wasn't slightly shimmering or glistening, it would be crystalline and perfectly clear, like glass. Like you just see through it, like there wouldn't be water there. There is a table on the very back far wall with a few candles, but nothing else inside this room.
Can I activate Eldritch Sight again, please?
You do. You do get a magical sense from the basin and the pedestal. It is giving off a divination sense to you.
What's that mean? Sorry, can you clarify that?
Divination, like divining on things. Divination magic is like
it's like seeing things for what they actually are.
Seeing things far, seeing things of what they are, seeing the truth, seeing
like
things.
Professor Trelawney from Harry Potter, man.
Yeah.
All right, I relay all that information to
like
them.
Even the Harry Potter thing. What's Harry Potter?
There is no Harry.
The spell Scry is a divination magic. You scry on people from far away, that kind of stuff.
Ooh.
That's a divination spell, I believe.
All right, cool. Yeah, I'll pass on all that information to the rest.
Does the stone basin look portable, or is it stuck there?
The marble pillar itself looks heavy. The basin itself looks like it could be taken out and away from it. If you wanted to. It does look like it could be moved.
So, Hideon, you're telling me that this person could have been spying on us through this basin?
Well, I mean, I've got no idea, really. I'm kind of trying to figure it out myself right now.
Kodiak walks up to the basin.
Mm-hmm.
I look in it.
Okay.
Over it.
You look in it, and you can see very, very clear, very, very clear water, and you can see your reflection in the basin. It's very similar, actually, Kodiak. A very similar sensation. As soon as you approach and you kind of look into it, very similar sensation to when you were communicating with the ancient Fae through her basin.
Interesting.
Very, very similar, but this one seems more like instead of a prison or a trap, this one does seem like an ability to see further than the boundaries of your own eyes.
I'm gonna touch the water.
Okay. As you do, you touch the water, and as you do, you see the ripples go out from the basin, out from the stone, and suddenly you are once again standing in a very familiar location. This strange demiplane that you stand on is filled with a thin layer of water, so much so that you're not standing in it, but it more so feels like you're standing on it. But every movement you make ripples across the water and reflects and continues to go out. It is forever expanding, expansive blue. You see no one around you. It is just you standing in what seems to be this strange rippling plane. But you get the sense as if you're meant to picture somebody in your mind, focusing on a location or someone you are familiar with, someone that you know or someone you wish to know the whereabouts of. A place that you've been before or a place that you've read of in stories. You feel almost guided.
Does he disappear from our world, sorry?
No, you just see him touch the water and he's just looking at the water.
Okay.
Just touches it, looks at the water.
I picture Tari.
Okay. You picture Tari in your mind, and as you do, you watch as ripples come back to you. And as the ripples come back to you, you see that you are fastly approaching what seems to be a picture across this water. Whitewash spraying behind you as you are drawn towards this figure not too far away from your current location. As you do, you arrive and you see Tari at the tavern, serving with her mother, the very, very elderly Nan who seems to have a few ladles hanging from her belt, each ladle to be able to do a different thing. One to smack customers, one to smack family and friends, one to cook food, and one to smack the countertop.
Oh, yes. Oh,
Strapped
yeah.
to her belt, and you can see that there sitting at the bar is Malik. And Malik, as you walk into the tavern, Tari would greet you and go, welcome back, sir. Your room is ready for you whenever you'd like to use it. If you'd like some complimentary food and drink with your room purchase, it is all ready for this afternoon tea.
Thank you. You've been very kind to me, and I really appreciate this. As I slide her.
She looks at it and slides it back and goes, no, you've already paid. There's no need to
An
pay
extra
more than necessary. And she slides it back to you. You can see Nan just go, is someone just trying to pay you more, Tari?
Uh-huh.
Yes, mother, but they didn't. Good, otherwise I'll smack him on the noggin. Mother, how is the food coming? Oh, it's coming all right. It's coming along real nice. She kind of brings the ladle out and brings it over to you, Malik, and kind of like hands you the ladle. Try this, boy. See what you think.
I'll oblige because I don't want to get hit with the ladle.
You take a sip from the ladle, and it's really tasty. It's like a really nice venison stew, very well herbed, well salted, not too hot, not too salty, and it's warm and very comforting. It reminds you very much of a homely feeling, like a food you might have had, back at home.
If you looked at her other hand,
and she's like,
Yep.
"What do you think, boy?"
It is very delectable and very delicious.
I knew it needs more salt. Walks back and starts putting more salt in it.
If you looked at her other hand, her second ladle was ready to hit you.
The second one doesn't need to be ready.
You don't know.
You blink, and that ladle's in her hand.
Oh.
So Eldritch power, summon ladle. But yeah, she salts it a bit more, and you're like, oh, it probably doesn't need a bit more salt. And then as soon as she gives you the bowl, you're like, that extra salt works. And so it's very comforting. You have your meal. Tari supplies you with a beverage of your choice: ale, wine, juice.
As
Fraser's turned into an automaton again.
Oh, it's the Terminator.
I get it.
The Terminator.
Tell me, am I still like that?
You're better now.
Oh, I hear you. Oh, now I do.
Oh no!
No, God.
This is how it works, though.
Okay.
Can we do
best
a-
bets that
Can do a GoFundMe page to update his internet?
Yeah, can we
Fans help
replace
pay for
the little hamster wheel that runs his internet? He hasn't fed that hamster in a while, and his internet's running really poorly because of
It's all
it.
skin and bones now.
That's all we're getting is just moaning. Robotic moaning. Anyway, Kodak, you would see the transpiring of this engagement and the conversation between Tari and Malik. You would also notice that with your earlier divine sense that this is actually the figure that would have given off the celestial presence from before. But after about 15 minutes...
Snuffled.
Oh, God.
Whoa!
Go away, demon. Kodak. Come on, guys.
Hearing that, I go, oh!
Back on track. 15 minutes of watching later, and you guys just looking at Kodiak, who's just gone blank. And he's done this before when he talked to the Ancient Fae, but after about 15 minutes, your mind comes back to you. The ripples recede back into the bowl, and your vision becomes yours as you blink.
I take my finger out and I turn and look at everyone's gobsmacked faces again.
I'm not looking at him. I'm currently just looking around the room at this point. 15 minutes is a long time, man.
I'm gonna, without saying anything, I'm just gonna go and do what he did into the basin.
Okay, you can see that the water line has receded slightly into the bowl. And as soon as you put your finger into the bowl, the water line recedes slightly more as ripples expand outwards and you find yourself standing in a very unfamiliar location. Blue as far as the eye can see, ripples expanding with every movement you make, and as you stand there you feel guided, almost instructed as to picture something or someone in your mind, something familiar, something you've read, something you've seen, or someone you've met.
Father, where are you?
The ripples expand and the ripples come back to you, and as the ripples come back to you, you find yourself staring still at the expanse of nothingness around you. You felt the connection try to be made, but you also felt consciously as someone broke the connection before you could reach your intended target.
As that is happening, I'm explaining what this is to everyone else.
Okay.
Yep. I'm listening.
I see. So, what you're saying is it's a good way to spy on people.
Yeah, I believe it is a type of scry.
I see. So, who are you spying on?
That is none of your business. But I have found where that friend is that we met earlier.
Oh, where?
He is at our old residence.
What on earth is he doing there?
I believe
Didn't he say he was going to a tavern?
Yeah,
I mean,
believe
come on,
he
guys.
said he was going to a tavern for
You guys really need to pay attention to this kind of stuff.
sleep and eat and drink like a normal person needs to.
Yeah.
He's
No, that
doing what he said he was
sounds
doing.
shifty to me.
Doing normal things. Okay.
say sure sounds shifty to you.
I mean, then again, you are like an angel or something. So I mean, I don't know what kind of floats your boat at this point.
But he does have a celestial sense about him.
Fair enough.
Like you, Pidian.
As you guys
Okay.
are conversing, Equinox, as I mentioned, it looks as if there was a barrier blocking your way or some sort of disruption in the connect, and something stopped your connection to your target.
Can I just get out of the scry or something? Yep.
You
I'll
pull out, and you can see the water line has receded. Looking at how the water line has receded, being quite intelligent, you'd say you probably have 3 uses of this left
Okay.
before you have to.
I don't understand. I can't sense him. He does not seem to be. Or somebody has stopped me trying to find him.
I see. Well,
Do it.
just keep trying, buddy.
Just keep on trying.
We'll find him soon, eventually, at some point.
Yeah, I mean, we've got other things to do as well. We've got to go down to the spire when we're ready. So, for I feel
Well, does
you mentioned.
anyone...
Oh, go on.
So, does anyone else want to try the ball of holiness over there?
I mean, not particularly.
Nah, neither.
Sounds like a
Judging by the amount of water, I'd say we'd only 2, maybe even just 3 more times.
I love this voice.
Well,
Very good at measuring water by finger drops there, aren't you?
You
I
wouldn't
might as well.
understand.
Well,
No.
if you don't mind, before we move forward, I might as well go dip my fingers in it a little.
Okay, just be careful.
All right, so you
Oh
head over
God,
to
here
the
we go.
basin now, Hideon, and you
I
place
love how we
your
get rid of that
place your
scry.
finger in. As soon as you place your finger in, you sense an immediate rejection to your presence as a full, and nothing happens.
Ha!
Like as soon as you press it in, you watch as the water glows,
Mm.
but you're like, nothing's happening. Not that you know what would happen. Kodiak described the sensation to you, and you saw the ripples in the bowl, but you're not standing on water, and there's no blue as far as the eye can see, but nothing seems to be happening.
Okay.
Does this water look like I could? I mean, the bowl would it be transportable in a way where we wouldn't be able to like or something? Like,
After using it, you kind of get the figure that the kind of get the point that this pillar is what tethers it to be able to search out for these locations and items. It is almost like a waypoint for the bowl to work. So if you were to remove the bowl and the water would splash out, first of all, it's a very shallow bowl, so the water could easily splash out. And if you were to move the bowl, it wouldn't work on its own. It needs this kind of anchor point to search out. It is like a total enchantment. The enchantment itself knows what you're wanting to find and can take you there. And the basin itself is like the one that tethers you to outwards. It's like the old-fashioned phone. You got the bowl is the phone, and the basin is the cord that connects you to other people.
Yep. Okay.
Imagine having like control water at that point.
Yeah. Well, I got a water skin, but
It
yeah.
does, as I mentioned before, it doesn't look like normal water. This looks like very, very pure, like a very, very pure liquid.
Yeah. Okay.
I turn to everyone else and say, well, we better get going then. Shall we move on?
I mean, we're just supposed to like kind of come here and check out the new place is all we've been really told. We got to get ready to start heading south at some point.
Yeah.
Let's go claim a room and set up before
Well-
Uther finds us again.
If you don't mind, instead of having the main bedroom, I'd like to make this my room.
The basement.
Hang on. Dark, edgy basement. Yeah, no, seems about right.
Would you like a pillow or a blanket, or are you happy to sleep on the ground?
I don't say anything. I just look at him.
I thought so. Sleeping
Sure.
on
Then I'll take it, and I'll walk off to the master bedroom.
Sweet. Malik.
Oh,
Just want to see if Malik's back.
Yeah, I'm back.
Okay, cool. Good to hear. All right, yes, what were you going to say, Hector?
what are the other rooms that are an option in the mansion?
Just a bunch of spare rooms. They're all pretty
Bunch
much
of
the
spare
same.
rooms?
Yeah, basic double bed, red silk sheets, fur carpet, window in each, bathroom attached to each. Bathroom, by bathroom I mean it's just like a bucket for you to excrete in. You can throw it away later. And what is basically a giant barrel that you could fill with heated water, and then you have to manually empty. But you'd probably have servants to do that in a manner. But each bedroom, there's nothing too special about each of the other bedrooms. It's just the main bedrooms, a bunch of spare bedrooms.
All right, well, I'll go claim one of them, I guess.
Okay. I mean, the
Yeah,
views
go
are
claim
different. You got a view of a building, you got a view of the courtyard outside the front, and you got a view of the wall.
I'll go the one with the view of the courtyard.
Okay, so master bedroom and the courtyard view are both taken. Done.
That tapestry you mentioned with the original Kingsman, whereabouts is it and how big is it, if you don't mind me
It's
asking?
in the library, and it's quite a large tapestry. It covers one of the walls as a large feature piece.
okay.
I'd say it's about 5 by 10 foot, 10 foot length, 5 foot side to side.
Damn.
So it's
That's
a
a
very large tapestry. Like it's
Yeah, that's huge.
more than life-size figures. And you can see King in the middle, 2 Shadow Kais, and then Uther kind of just sulking in the back because he has to be in a tapestry.
In a photo. Or painting, I should say.
Yeah,
No.
painting, yeah.
Just sorry I know that there's other people wanting to do
go
stuff,
for it.
but while I'm in the library, I was just wondering if I could find anything to do with the lands of like the Highlands, Starcrest Spire in particular,
Yeah, for sure.
or
Roll me a investigation check. In the meantime, Malik, you're going to say something to Tari, who is the host of the tavern that you're at.
I'm gonna ask her.
Do you know anything about the people who have newly taken up residence in the manor at all?
Yes, I've
The
had the fortunate and unfortunate of meeting some of them. They seem to be relatively kind souls, and one of them is quite the gentleman when approaching. Although he seems strangely familiar with my mother, which is concerning. Otherwise, I think they're quite fine. They helped out in a problem that we didn't know we had, and as Kingsmen go, they try and do the best that they can.
How is it that someone might find work around here then? Because I approached them first, however, not that they seemed hostile, they just seemed a bit hesitant
Right.
on someone like me helping.
I think generally the thing with Kingsmen is unless you're a Kingsman, it's hard to get outsiders to help work in. However, if you're just looking for general work, there's always some like mission boards and mercenary work around. I know there's a caravan planning on heading to Lowen within the next day or two, taking them south to Lowen, and they want some protection after the orcish attack a few weeks ago. So I mean, if you wanted to put yourself up as a protector, as a mercenary for this trip to Lowen, you could earn some cash and help some very fine people get to Lowen. I'll be accompanying on this caravan as well. I may be meaning to make a pit stop to Lowen to get some food for Mother for a while now.
Thank you for your information. You've been most kind and hospitable to me.
Of course,
And
of course.
well, if I've already paid for my meal, that's great. I'm gonna get up and I guess I'm gonna start looking around for work.
Well, if you let me know about this caravan job, I'll let the people know who's leading it and tell them that they've got a man to help. Yes.
Most kind of you. Thank you.
Wonderful. All right, I'll chat with you soon. Enjoy your evening and your stay here.
While everyone's claiming bedrooms, by the way, Connor, I'm just told them that I'm going back down to to Far Reich to just start working in the blacksmith again.
Well, you guys are still in Far Reich, but you just head to your smithy.
You head back,
Easy enough.
head
You
back
to
to the smithy.
your father's there. It's like, well, if it isn't my son, appointed Kingsman, here he is walking through these very doors with that very badge. Oh, I am so proud of you, son. What stories did you come to tell me this soon?
Oh, well, I haven't found much data. Just thought I could do a bit more extra work here, keep learning your craft. The estate's pretty dope, though, so...
He even has an estate. A Kingsman, with an estate of his own, coming back to help his father. I could not have asked for more in a son than you. I don't know where my wife is even in you, but the bastard hasn't gotten her claws into you yet. It's all right. I'll teach you everything I can before you have to leave the nest, my young bird.
Appreciate it. I need to work on my own kind of stuff as well, too.
Of course. Don't let your old father hold you back. I wouldn't want to be like your mother.
I procure my enchanted ore that I still have because I haven't made anything with it yet.
Of course. Well then, if there's anything you need, you let your old man know. I'm here to help and willing to be there for you.
Well, I just need some help making a new scimitar. I feel like something more enchanted rather than the basic stuff.
Scimitar, the weapon of a young man, not like those elvish swords your bastard mother wields. It's all right. We will make a formidable sword for you yet, son. Start the forge. I'll be with you soon. I need to go get my equipment. How are you doing?
Wow.
You shifty bugger.
Shifty bugger.
Picks up his hammer. Brings it over to the forge.
Jesus, Mary and Joseph.
All right, son, as you know, my hammer is ready to smash things, just like your mother was ready to smash my heart into small pieces.
Yeah, I procure the whiskey.
Yeah. Excellent. I thought I ran out of that last night. Thank you, son. Takes a big old swig, and you guys start forging one of your scimitars, I presume.
Yes. Well, I've got my spell that summons one, so I don't need one. But yeah.
Sweet as. Okay, you start working on an enchanted scimitar, which is great. I'll get you to roll me a blacksmithing check to start for the first part of getting the metal ready to be forged into the item necessary.
Too
You have
easy.
advantage with your father's help.
What attribute?
This will be strength. This is with the hammer. This is hitting into the metal, trying to flatten and shape it into the basic.
think I only rolled that once. Whoops. Let me roll a second one.
That's all right.
Oh wow.
You think 19 is high? The DC for these things are high. 22.
Oh,
Okay.
what?
That'll pass. That'll prepare the steel, the enchanted metal ready for your procuration. For the rest of the evening, you and your father work to shape it into the shape of a scimitar. Get it ready, sharpen the blade, and work your magic. Roll me another check.
Okie dokie. Another strength check.
Yeah. Are you gonna work into the night? Or are you gonna leave it for now? What's your plan?
I mean, I can trance for 4 hours, so
Sorry, but this is gonna take most of the evening.
yeah, it'll take most of the evening, and then I'll like do the same thing like at midnight, go to bed.
Okay. This will be a dex check. You're
Yeah,
trying
that's
to
right.
create the shape of this blade.
Okay, an advantage, correct?
This will be more of just you doing it. Your father can't help you shape the blade, but when quenching, heating, hitting, it's easier to work. So this will just be you.
Can I use Shadow Blade to have the like a similar mold that's ready, like to conjure a mold that I want it to look like?
A similar shape. You'll still be. It won't give you advantage, but it'll be cool aesthetic-wise.
Yeah, okay, towards yes.
So, yeah,
I
you
thought
can
I'd throw it
conjure
out
your
there.
shadow blade to kind of pre-design the shape that you want. 18. Okay.
18.
You'll get most of the shape ready, but you're very picky with your own weapons. This isn't something you're completely happy with, and you might need to work on a little bit further. It is a working blade, but you can tell that it's the magic's being blocked by some of the design. So it's only just a basic scimitar at the moment.
Too easy,
Once you kind of unblock the flow of magic again and finalize the shape, you'll get your magic scimitar.
Yeah, too easy. I'll do that next day. I'll
But yeah,
rest.
you take your rest. You guys all take your rest in the mansion. Jet takes his rest within his father's blacksmith. Well, he's got one smith on the side for Jet and one smith on the side for him because he's very proud of his son.
Yeah.
And you guys wake the next morning after your sleeps, after your trances, after your rests. You guys come to for a fresh morning. At the manor, you would receive a knock on the door quite early. You hear this poof, 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 poof at the door.
Oh, I'll go get it. I'll open it.
I'll accompany you.
Oh,
So,
thank you.
Hit in, you get to the door and you open it and you can see a kinder older lady kind of hunched over, hands behind her back, looking up at you, wearing just like a leather apron. Looks like this. Huh? Wow. My God, you've lost weight, Kodiak. You're so scrawny and ugly.
It's only been 2 days since I haven't had a meal from you.
Ah, yes, there you are. Sorry, I saw this twig and I thought it was you for a sec. My eyesight. It's not what it used to be before, you know, Kodiak. Who is this lovely young man I just insulted?
Oh, I'm Hideon Peacevale. Nice to meet you.
By God, you're Chipper. Isn't that nice? Nice to meet you, Chipper.
Oh, nice to meet you. You're so
Call
kind.
me Nan.
What?
Call me Nan.
Oh, nice to meet you, Nan. You're so kind.
Thank you.
Kodiak goes to give her a kiss on the cheek.
She kind of accepts it. Oh, you're so sweet, you. Oh, stop it. What would my daughter say if she saw us like this? Oh, scandalous. No, speaking of which, you big brute, you haven't been past in a while, and she's already flirting with other men.
Ah,
You gotta get in on that, quick.
I'll take your advice.
Yes, they're doing this thing. I don't know what it's called, a mercenary. You need to be a mercenary, okay?
Well,
Apparently she's into mercenaries now.
well, we are a type of mercenary.
No, excellent. Are you looking for work?
Well, I mean, we don't have a mission at the moment, but Kingsmen can take missions.
Well then, I've got a mission for you. You'll invite me inside or keep me out in the cold this entire time. Where are your manners, boy?
Come inside, and I help her inside.
Whack! Crack across the skull with a ladle that appears out of nowhere.
Oh, 80 hit points down.
Kill.
It's like her dexterity's 3,000.
Yep.
Watch as her apron shimmers.
That hurt. Yep.
The apron shifts slightly, and you can see there's 3 more ladles underneath her apron, and she kind of takes you by the arm and lets you lead her inside the house.
I'd take her to like a very comfy seat.
She immediately sees you got a kitchen and like leads you over to the kitchen and goes into the kitchen and starts preparing some food. You there, Chipper?
Oh, hello.
Get me some celery, boy.
Oh, some celery, sure.
Yes, celery.
Okay. I'll start looking around, find some celery.
She just keeps telling you to get stuff, and eventually she starts preparing some food. Yo, you Burley, Kodiak, go to the rest of the Kingsmen and bring them down here for breakfast.
I just do it. I go out to the middle of the house and I just do the biggest roar.
Ooh, nice.
Christ.
Nice.
Breakfast!
Yeah.
Just out of an assumption, I'm going to assume I was in the library still.
Yeah, sure.
Oh, or I woke up that morning and started. I did get a 25 in the game. Get some.
Yeah, you wouldn't find anything new that I haven't told you already about the Spire, but it just reconfirms a lot of what you've been told.
Yeah. Okay. Fantastic. Cool. I'll come join for whatever's going on downstairs.
Yeah, sweet. You guys all come. You find breakfast is prepared. Jet, in your own estate, your father has kind of just prepared a simple, hearty meal of bacon, eggs, bread, and bacon.
Yeah, it is.
In the household, there is a very beautiful kind of like potato and vegetable stew full of nutrients ready to start a growing young boy's day. Hello, everybody. I'm Nan. You can feel free to call me Nan. I am a friend of Kodiak's, and I am here because I'm trying to get him laid.
Man, I love this dark fantasy thing that Connor explained first and foremost. Dark fantasy.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get this guy laid.
I just start scoffing down the meal.
Nan, I can appreciate what you're doing. I respect that.
Good. God.
I give her a quick knuckles.
She looks at you and knuckle and goes, What are you doing? Are you trying to hit me? Pulls out a ladle. I will beat your ass, boy.
I push the knuckles down.
Like looks at you, feeling slightly threatened. Like,
Be like Nan. Don't dog the boys.
And I go down to eat breakfast, whatever.
Good. All right. She goes, well, so Tari, Kodiak's soon-to-be partner, if he doesn't mess up like he's been doing, because there's another guy apparently who she's into, a mercenary. Tari is going to Lowen soon, and she needs some brute muscle, and well, she doesn't really need anybody. She could go there by herself and kick everybody's butt on the way. I mean, have you seen me? I've taught her well. But the rest of the party is a large mercenary group, a large, what do you call it, a caravan, a wagon, a trail. There's a lot of people going, and I really would appreciate if Kodiak could get some alone time with Tari while the rest of you kind of make sure this Malik kid stops flirting with her.
Ooh.
I just agree and just say, well, it seems like a mission for the Kingsmen to protect its people.
Yes, that too, sure. Protect the people.
Yes,
But
of course.
first and foremost, protect Tari's chastity. This Malik seems like a weirdo. He's always like, oh, yes, thank you so much for your hospitality. We're a tavern, of course that's what we do. He's very redundant.
It's okay, Nan. I think we can handle this one. Yes.
I don't know if I particularly want to lead Far It's a riot.
I'm gonna look at Kodiak and be like, well, it seems to be where we need to go anyway.
It is.
Well, at least one of us.
The caravan leaves tomorrow. It's heading south to Lowen.
Where shall we meet for this caravan?
At the tavern.
Alrighty.
Excellent.
Shall we all go?
You there, dark green and handsome. Walk me back to the tavern.
Oh, okay, we'll do.
Good.
I give Hector a slap on the butt.
Puts her hand through your arm and like starts filling your bicep a little bit. You're strong.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Well, we do what we have to do in order to be Kingsmen.
Really?
I yell out, "She's feisty!"
Yes, I am. She smacks you on the arm.
Oh no!
Smacks you on the ass with her ladle.
DTF.
You spend the next 25 minutes, like she's really slow, but she seems to be slowing down and just kind of like walking like, such a lovely day. And then just kind of just like leans her head on your shoulder. It's almost like she seems very young in vision as she's walking, and then you realize she's probably like some sort of like really, really old lady. You can't even tell what race she is at this point.
Some sort of.
Some sort of old lady.
I thought you were just going to leave it some sort of old and just leave it at that. We're not even sure.
But you do walk her back to the tavern. She comes up and goes, Tari, this guy here, Mr. Green Man, him and the rest of the Kingsmen have agreed to mercenary you. Mother, that sounds awful. Not mercenary me. They're going to
It's all right.
look after the caravan.
You have nothing to worry about. It's all good. We got you.
So sorry for her. If there's any damages she has incurred, please allow me to apologize.
No, she's been a pleasure.
Of course I have. I'm a damn toot and a half. All right.
Toot.
Where's that Malik kid?
I assume I've just woken up and I'm just sitting in there, just like watching what is going on here.
She leaves this half-orc who you recognize and walks over to you, sits down. All right, handsome. Here's the deal.
Okay.
Go on.
Good. I'm glad you're listening. Tari here. Well, she's a special sort of lady. You know what I mean?
Of course.
It means if you treat her wrong, I'm gonna come after your ass, and so is she, and we're gonna curb stomp you. You understand? So
Utterly and entirely.
I want you to treat her like a proper lady. I want you to woo and charm her. And if any competition comes along, I want you to be the better man, you understand?
I brace my head for this. I like have one hand ready to catch an incoming ladle as I say, please do not take any offense. I'm just not looking for any person in that way.
I didn't say I had to bone her. I just said treat her like a proper lady, you weirdo.
Of course.
Good. Stands up. We'll see you here tomorrow, bucko.
Yeah, you're like Bucko. Oh,
Walks off. Heads back.
She's my favorite. Immediately my
Starts
favorite.
cooking food.
she's up there.
What are you still doing here, Greenie?
All right. Well, would you like to come back and meet the rest of the Kingsmen?
Are you talking to me?
He's talking to you, Malik.
Yeah, Alec, not you, obviously.
I know.
I'm still... Malik is very confused at this point. I've just eaten breakfast and all this just happened.
Alec.
Of course.
Okay. Well, my name's Hector. I'm one of the Kingsmen, and follow me back, and I'll introduce you to the rest of the crew.
He's the leader.
I wouldn't go that far.
That's
You're
not
the
what
leader.
Hunter said.
Okay.
Hunter said you're very, very respectable.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much.
Well, I'm very honored to be able to meet the leader of such a fine group, and I will reach my hand out to her.
I shake his head and say, well, it's a pleasure to meet you too, and I'm sure that we're all going to get along just fine, and that our mission's going to get completed.
Tari, go with him. What? Why? Because they're going to be protecting you tomorrow. Yes, and I've got things to get ready for tomorrow. So? So I have to get ready. Yes, but if they're going to be protecting you, they should at least know who they're protecting.
That's true. You should come along too.
I have so much to get ready for. That's fine, I'll do it. Mother. Yeah? You were so very sick. Sick of your bull? Now get out there!
If there's any mother I'd trust, it's that one.
She certainly has a way with words.
She has a way full stop. All right.
At the far corner and goes, Jax, she starts coughing up blood. Please take her to my room and get me as soon as possible. Will do, my lady. Thank you, Jax. You keep your distance, Jax. I know you want me.
So good.
All right. Well, let's go, and
Right.
we'll start walking
Also,
back to.
bring this to the big guy. Kodiak? Yeah, him too. And hands you like this lunchbox. It's only breakfast. Yeah, by the time you get there, it'll be breakfast second time. Second breakfast.
Well, thank you for
I knew it. She's a hobbit.
All right, mother.
Okay, well, let's get cracking. Let's go.
After you.
All right, and I'll start leading them back towards the rest of the crew in the tavern.
She leans under the table and brings out a very, very heavy mace, slings it over her shoulder, picks up a what seems to be a very hefty bag with ching's like metal in it, hucks it over her shoulder as well, and starts approaching. Takes her apron off, and you can see she's quite well muscled.
Muscled.
Quite well muscled.
Muscle is good.
You guys eventually make your way back to the estate. Jet, your father is blackout, drunk asleep still, snoring his ass off. I mean, He doesn't have that elvish blood in him, so he's gonna be
No.
asleep for a while.
That makes sense. So I need to finish this. I'm just like glad that everyone just forgot. They're just like, where did he go?
But yeah, you can finish your project
Yeah.
throughout the rest of the day. Roll me
Yeah.
another check, another dex
So-
check with your smith's tools.
Do you mean like where did Jet go? Because I'm pretty sure I knew that you were going off to Smith.
I don't think I told anyone. I just kind of wandered off.
Oh,
Like,
okay.
I'm heading off. I'll try and roll another dex check for you. I got worse.
Okay.
I'm taking my time to do this
You're
though.
trying to refine the metal, and you're finding that there's a few things that you want to do that the shadow you can create in your imagination is. Now, the imagination is a very powerful tool, and you find that your hands just aren't cooperating as your brain wants them to, and you're just not getting the right finesse that you need and the right
Could I
kind of
use?
shaping on the metal that you want to get the right shape. And although you're slowly approaching the final shape that you want, you're finding you're spending way too much time and getting very little result.
Could I use since my hands can't do it? Could I use like firebolt or like chromatic orb with the fire to kind of like smooth use that like extra heat?
This is
to
more of like taking off material by hand and shaping it by hand, getting the figure using grindstones, using sharpening stones, all that kind of stuff. This is less of the heating. You're doing fine with heating the material and getting it ready. The more you do it, the harder it's going to be. But it's just more of the getting the shape by hand is hard, and you're finding that your skill level is not on par with your father to complete such an expert task. It seems at this moment, you're just spending too much time with little result.
Okay. Jeez, with 17s and 18s too. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, that's unlucky, bro.
Yeah.
Very special project, especially because I still remember what you want to do with these blades.
Yeah, I know. I do kind of want to keep working on this, but
You
I mean,
you're
I
gonna
haven't
get very tired. You working like you take your rest, which is fine, but working non-stop is also definitely draining.
yeah. Well, like I don't know. No one's told me anything's happening yet either, so I'll take like intermittent breaks throughout working on it too. Put Dad in bed, stuff like that.
I mean, you're still getting tired.
Yeah,
It's less
I know.
intermittent breaks, more like taking a break just to get your brain refreshed, rejuvenated. You can't spend too much time working. You spend 3 days working on a project before you get it, but you're gonna get exhaustion.
That's fair.
It's hard. Being a blacksmith is definitely a lot of hefty work.
Oh yeah. I get you. Let's go for like kind of like a saunter around the town then, I guess.
Yeah, fair enough. Go for a saunter around the town, take a relaxing walk.
Because I know Hunter's kid. He's always been like.
Yeah, Hunter's kid's just kind of chilling around. He's part of the huntsman, so he's always kind of just walking around, guarding, chatting to people every once in a while. And he spots you and goes, "Ah, there you are.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hey, how are you?
Yeah, good yourself."
Yeah, not bad. Taking after your old man, I see.
Yeah, I mean, like father, like son. Couldn't say the same about you.
Yeah, I guess it's just a bit different in a little bit of ways, but hey.
Sure.
Still keeping up the training that your dad always put us through?
Yeah, I mean, my archery's getting better. I found I was always better with a sword, but my bow skills are getting up there.
Nice. I'm just trying to work on something, but I need a bit of time to relax.
Fair
So I
enough.
thought I'd just go for a bit of a walk around,
Yeah, I found when I was using my bow and I got frustrated, it got worse. So, practice my sword at that point, try something new, refresh my mind, take my mind off it, but, you know how it can be sometimes. Stubbornness of the brain, wanting to complete a task.
I feel that. Maybe I should work on some armor then.
Yeah, maybe. How the others going?
I don't know. I still don't really know them that well. They kind of stick to themselves a lot more.
Fair enough. You,
Yeah.
Kingsmen, though, you planning on going on that mission that they're going on?
Mission?
Yeah, I heard that the Kingsmen were joining a few of us huntsmen to protect the caravan that's heading to Lowen tomorrow.
Oh, I see. Sure, I guess, it better. It's like that Kingsman Judy or something. I still don't exactly know what that means, but yeah.
Oh boy, it basically means that you got the king's word behind your back, so don't screw up, huh?
Oh, God, yeah. Nope. That's a lot of pressure instantly dumped on my shoulders.
Yeah.
That's good to know.
That's alright. I'll be there to take you out of any trouble if you get in it. So count on me, kiddo.
Of course.
Oh god, I do sound like my father.
You do, a lot. It's
God.
kind of concerning. My dad's currently passed out drunk in the forge, but you know.
My dad's currently passed out drunk in the jungle.
Hey, well, you know.
Yeah, well. So,
Alright, well.
The jungle is the local name for the barracks, by the way.
Yeah.
Because it's always sweaty, always steamy, and always has a bunch of half-naked men.
I was thinking like, geez,
Perfect.
that's a great place.
Well,
Want to
you
get
mates,
some
you gonna be on
sparring
a
in, I
mission
guess?
tomorrow? I'll see you tomorrow. I've got some stuff to do. I've got my rounds to make. As soon as the old man's
Okay.
asleep.
Too easy. I was gonna ask if you want to do some sparring. Nothing too in depth, just a bit of
Sorry,
keep
if
your
I
mind
had
up
the
things.
time, I would. Maybe on the caravan weekend, but gotta get my rounds done. Make sure that
Of course.
nothing else is happening, especially after the debacle that just transpired.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. Well, I'll catch you around. I'm gonna keep going for a walk to keep my
Yeah.
mind up things.
Sweet as. Probably head over and talk to the rest of your mates and see what the happening is with this mission. I know that we're us hunters are going there as scouts, but if you guys can be the bulk of the mercenary group, it'd be good to know what your role will be in.
Sorry, I'm just getting this plot hook out of my mouth real quick.
Yeah. No, keep it in there. Dig it in deep. Hey, sorry, I think you dropped something. I think it's called the narrative.
Sorry.
Oh, got him.
Oh, jeez, I gotta pick that up real quick. Oh, that's sorry. This is where the script's telling me to go. Yes,
Yeah, of course.
head back to
We've been
the-
through the script.
I can't spend the next 7 days making my sword. Damn it!
D&D's supposed to be about me
You
making
mean,
my.
you mean I just had 2 weeks of free time and I can't continue having my free time?
I mean, the group would have gone, all right, where the hell is Jet?
Well, I did give him some armor to what do you call it, to repair, and I'd be wondering.
Cripsy's so confused.
Yeah.
Alright, anyway.
I'll head up now.
You have a
Yeah.
good day.
You too.
Eventually, you guys all kind of convene at this place. Eventually, Hector, you arrive with Malik and a slightly perturbed. Blaze, help me out here. Tari, very slightly perturbed Tari with a mace on her back. And you guys kind of approach, walk in. You can see the others kind of cleaning up after breakfast, just getting ready for their day. All right.
Hey there, everybody.
Hello. Good morning.
This is Merrick and Tally.
Malik. I think his name is
Malik.
Yes.
And that's Tari.
Hello.
Sorry.
Kodiak, this is from you, from Mum. She hands over a small little packed lunch.
Thank you. I do appreciate you too.
Yes. I don't know what you're doing with her, but I've got my eyes on you.
As I have mine on you.
Like, tilts her head slightly. It's like, roll a charisma check.
Ooh, get it. No nat ones, baby.
Also,
Ah!
that sword for Dad's
Charisma?
sake. I'm
Straight
fixing it.
charisma?
Yeah,
See
just
how we
straight
go.
charisma. What was that, Jake?
I just left a note on like the forge, just saying like, oh yeah, like not that when it's working, but it's like, hey Dad, yeah, just gotta go for a sec. The sword's still there though.
Kind of looks at you a bit like, you're lucky that I know you and my mum likes you, otherwise that would have come off creepy, but it comes off slightly endearing. She goes, yeah, alright. Yes. So I suppose my mother has hired you to be the mercenaries in protecting the caravan heading to Lowen, yes?
Yes.
And
Yes, that is true.
apparently there are mechanical horses walking around your house.
Sorry,
Yeah.
is that my? Must be my keyboard. Sorry, I was muted.
That's all right.
It's not. It's mine.
Oh, okay. All right.
So I'm assuming you all have certain skills that might benefit this caravan that I'm supposed to learn about. She looks at you all expectantly.
Well,
Hey guys, I arrived.
Yeah.
oh, yeah, there you are.
It's more of hello.
There's breakfast here for you if you want it.
Oh, I've already had some. Thanks though. Hey,
Here's
Tari.
second breakfast.
Ah, sweet, even
So
better.
I start eating the lunch meal.
It's really good.
Hi Tari, how you doing?
Hello, Chet. I didn't realize you were coming with us. I pegged you for more of a stay-at-home daddy's boy.
Oh!
Oh,
Shots
that's so
fired.
adorable for a mother's girl, but you know.
I know, I do have to take care of my mother quite a fair bit.
I had to take care of my dad after his crippling, you know.
I
Depression.
didn't realize your dad was crippling.
Savage.
Your dad's just at home. He's like, I got crippling
understand.
depression. Oh, he's She knows. Yeah. As As I was mentioning to the others, though, I was hoping to learn the skills that you all had that might help benefit this journey.
Well, your caravan needs protecting, and
Yeah.
we are all very strong in our own way.
Which is what I come here
I
to
brandish my crossbow and just like throw it over my shoulder, looking all
Edgy like.
yeah, super
Yeah.
edge lord.
So you can
Yeah,
do
you-
interpretive dance with a very big crossbow.
Snap.
Oh, she.
And looks at Hideon, and you know how to run your mouth.
Oh, hello. Yes, I'm Hideon Peacevale. Nice to meet you.
There it is.
We have been through the pleasantries before, Hideon.
I know. I just get nervous in front of pretty people. That's all.
Thank you. And what is it that you do, Hideon?
Oh well, I'm a Kingsman. I've got the badge and everything.
Didn't ask who you were. I asked
Malik
what you
face
do,
palms.
what your skill set is,
Oh,
what
what
it
my
is that you think defines you as a person.
Well, probably my kindness. Really, I'm really a lover, not a fighter.
It's true. He kind of talked to one of the guards when we were taking on the sage dude. He didn't actually do any attacking whatsoever. From
Ah. Right.
he's very charismatic, as far as I'm aware.
Oh, thank you there. That's very kind.
Right. So if we run into bandits, front lines.
An infantry.
Nice.
That's discrimination.
Looks over at you, Hector, and you, sir. As my mother calls you, dark green and handsome. I apologize for that. What is it that you are good at?
I am good with my sword,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm good at protection.
And you're outstanding with your music.
Oh, thank you. I do like a bit of a jingle, a bit of a sing song.
Right. Okay. And next, of course, I know what Jet does. We all know
Yeah.
what Jet does.
Yeah,
Luke
well,
doesn't let us not know what Jet does.
this is true.
Yes. The gifted son, bequeathed upon the powers of an unknown
he's-
bloodline.
He's learning some words. Jeez.
He has indeed learned some words. He took some classes, actually, recently. Apparently,
Fair
he wanted
enough.
to write a historical record of his son, the now Kingsman.
Oh,
Yes.
I feel like this is a lot.
Yes, I would believe so as well. Do any of you know much about Lowen?
Would I know anything about Lowen?
Would any of us know about Lon?
Roll me a history check. I'd say Kodiak, Hector, and Jet.
Would I maybe have found something in the library going
About
through?
Lowen? No. Not
Okay.
about Lowen.
Oh!
No.
Okay, so we've got 18, 8, and 15. So for the Hector and Kodiak,
Yeah.
let me just pull up my Lowen notes and my Chalteran map guide. You guys would know that Lowen, south of Farak, north of Wellspring, Wellspring being the protected safe haven of the elves, an area where no mortal can enter without the expressed permission of an elf. The only way to get in is having an elf blood in you. If you do enter without permission or without elf blood, you will enter and then be completely turned around by magic and be exited as soon as you entered. Lowen itself is a woodlands town. It basically practices hunting, collecting, gathering, supplying, all of that. A bit of a logging town. Because the Wellspring is so abundant, it does create a lot of very prime and very rare foods and meats and catches. Very exquisite game meats that you can't really catch many other places. And because Lowen is on the outskirts of Wellspring, it does get the benefit of being able to kind of hunt anything that does come out that isn't within the protection of the wellspring. So a lot of exotic foods, a lot of exotic spices, exotic materials and stuff that are very highly valued in Far Reich, in medicine, in eating, in high noble society.
Okay.
And so, yeah,
Interesting.
it makes sense that a tavern would go there for stock.
All right, cool.
And then by road, you know that it would roughly take you. So that'd be 9, and that'd be 5. It'd take you 2 weeks to get there.
All right.
2 weeks by foot. On a caravan, a little bit less, maybe 10 days. At a decent travel pace, but they'll have carts, horses, oxes, all that kind of stuff, pulling the stuff needed. And then normally when you get to the location, they might hire people there who want to come back and, look after the cart on the way back, rather than, have the same people go there and back. So you guys are only being hired on the way there, and then can decide whether or not you guys want to be hired on the way back as well.
Okay.
Tari
Fantastic.
explains that you guys are going to be paid 100 gold pieces for this, so 100 gold pieces for the 2 weeks travel each. When you guys get there, if you guys do a decent job of looking after them and they get there unhindered and on time, you'll get an additional 50 gold pieces. Your Kingsman bonus doesn't come to this because it's not an official Kingsman quest, but it is something that you are allowed to do in your own right, and so 150 gold for 2 weeks isn't too bad, as long as you get them there safely and unhindered.
And who is it that will be traveling with us, barmaid?
Tari is my name. Go on.
Yes,
say
who
it. Go on.
will be traveling with us then?
Who will be traveling with us? Tari.
He's not exactly a people person.
Oh no, we'll get there. We'll get there. I believe in him. One more time.
Who will be
Excuse
traveling
me.
with us
No.
then?
Repeat after me. Excuse me, Tari.
Equinox does not answer.
Dude, you're getting treated like a child.
She's like looking at him like, well, if we're going to be doing this, then the people we're traveling with aren't going to particularly like you, Shadakai. Being of a race of your sorts is, well, I mean, it depends on the person. Seeing as we're traveling with nobles, you might need to learn some manners before we partake on this endeavor.
I'm not here to give manners and whatnot. I'm clearly here just for protection.
Right.
Why does it matter?
Because if you are protecting them, and you are in the presence of nobles, and you don't show manners, and the nobles feel offended by a lower class citizen, they might have that Kingsman badge of yours revoked.
Fine. Excuse me, Tari. Who will be traveling with us then?
The caravan will consist of 4 nobles that live within Farik and do not like the fact that Farik has been attacked. They'll be heading back to their own hometowns, but the first stop being Lowen. They wish to get some exotic goods before heading down to the south or the east. These 4 nobles are quite of high esteem in the Baron and the King's mind, as they provide quite a lot of sponsorship and commerce in certain trades and infrastructure. Farik itself was constructed by 2 of these nobles, and 2 of the other nobles are the ones that sponsored the, initially sponsored the uprising of the Kingsmen endeavor. So they do have a lot of pull, and it would be good for you guys to show yourselves off in a good light if you wish to further your path as Kingsmen.
And what can we expect on the road to Lowen? Are there any sort of creatures, dangers, terrain issues we may come across?
Well, hoping not to run into orcs, as previously said, but because we are trespassing by the Swallow Marsh connected to Noir and the curse that did lie there, a lot of these swampland creatures are going to be a trouble across the road, especially when we are camping. And on the other side is the smoldering boundary, so we could expect an attack from any of these smoldering marauders that come from the smoldering boundary. So people who might try to attack our caravan, bandits from the smoldering sands, or creatures from the Swallow Marsh, even perhaps just your generic so-and-so wishing to make a little bit of coin. It's always good to be on guard, but those are the main threats. The terrain as it's concerned is mainly plains, with desert encroaching on the west and the Swallow Marsh encroaching on the east. The road travels in between the two, so an equal amount of plains on either side. It's easy to see people coming, but it's also easy for people to see us moving. Makes it Fair and fair for an ambush. It also makes it a lot easier to be surrounded, as there isn't any safeguards or walls that we can put ourselves against.
So, is there a better way of going? Maybe a safer way?
The road is the safer way. The road was created because it was the safer way through, considering the curse and the smoldering boundary. We could cut our caravan short by cutting across the smoldering boundary border, but that would increase our risk of getting attacked by any of these smoldering marauders, which is not pleasant.
Okay. Well, what do you think, Nock?
Sorry, I missed that. I disconnected for some reason.
Oh no, I put you on the spot there.
Ah, you father mucker.
He said we could cut across the smoldering border, the boundary.
Yeah, let's head there.
But if you do that, it increases the risk of being attacked by smoldering marauders.
Okay. And I'll pitch in about how dangerous they are,
Yes.
as I've been in those lands.
You have lived in the smoldering boundary with the nomads before. It's quite interesting that you would. The nomads are a very closed group of people. I am surprised that they would have let somebody in, but that is quite impressive.
I needed help, and they helped me. I owe a lot to them.
Fair enough.
So who decides on what path we take then?
The leader of the caravan will, which is Noble Frederick. He lives a couple of mansions down from yours, and he is the leader of this caravan and has organized such a troop. My mother has known him for some years, and so he has offered the extension for myself to come as part of this caravan to collect the ingredients that we need to keep running our tavern. But if you wish to possibly talk to Frederick, could probably organize a meeting for you to meet with him and tell him that you want to traverse through a more dangerous location to get there faster.
I do not propose that. I think the safest route will be best.
Of course.
Yes, I agree.
All right. Well, if you do wish to meet with Frederick before tomorrow, he is only a couple of manors down from yours.
Too easy.
Yes.
Alright.
If that is all, I'll return to my mother, unless you needed something.
Kind of looking at both like parties, like looking one side, looking at the other, the awkward silence
Yeah.
that's fallen
Excellent.
everyone. Like,
He just kind of just stands up awkwardly, brushes off her kind of her tunic, slings the bag of metal over her shoulder again, takes her mace off the floor and goes, "Thank you for hosting me. It has been a pleasure meeting you all and conducting this conversation with you. I will see you all tomorrow morning by the tavern."
nice to see you again, Tari.
Goodbye, Jet.
Would you like
Enjoy
an
the rest of your-
escort?
Oh,
Oh.
what?
Oh.
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 Would you like an escort back?
I mean, she's pretty tough.
I know she is.
Oh,
Oh.
Ooh.
Well, I wouldn't be against
She-
company, I suppose. Give
And
me-
plus, I have to thank your mother for the meal.
Fair enough, and it'll also give me time to see what my mother sees in you. She
Let's go.
offers her arm to you
I hold it.
and starts making her way back towards the tavern.
Oh, that's very sweet, isn't it?
I just want to pull Jet over to the side real quick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm going to show him the letter that the Shadow Kai was getting from the capital of Eclipse or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And just go through like the idea that they're trying to, what do you call it? Get the smoldering sands to sort of encroach.
Overthrow Far-Reich with the smoldering boundary.
Yeah. Do you think it would be a good idea for us to share this information with the Baron?
I mean, a dastardly plot's always really like kind of juicy to kind of throw to a baron. I mean,
Do you show
Usually-
him the papers?
Yeah. The
You'd see blank paper.
I'd see blank paper.
um,
This looks like blank paper to me.
do I still see anything on it?
Yeah. You see the writings, you see the conversations, you see the seals.
You do not see what I see.
I don't. Give me a second. I'm gonna cast detect magic on the paper.
There doesn't seem to be any innate sense of magic coming from this paper. Detect
Okay.
magic was used before, and the only reason that this might be is either because Equinox is crazy or there is something blocking your detect magic.
So like an abjuration.
Could I do like an investigation of the ink maybe or the paper to see if it's got any like, You know how like when you write in lemon and then you heat it up and you can read.
Right. Go for it.
But like
Go for it. Okay. It's not written in ink. It's written in blood, and it is written in a very specific cursed blood, demon hunter blood, blood hunter blood. And the way that it's seemingly being written means that the right that the person had when they wrote it is concealing this from being seen from somebody else.
Okay.
Some sort of concealing right, much like your right that you have.
Okay. Well, if you can't see it, I doubt the Baron will be able to see it.
Yeah, I don't think
Probably
so.
that was left
But
here.
It really has. Whether or not Far Reich and Eclipse are at war aren't really of my concern anyway, to be honest.
I mean, it's always a bad thing if the smoldering sand slowly takes over here. So we probably want to keep an eye out. That's probably something to hold on to. I don't know. I'm not really a big person when it comes to end of the world stuff. I'm just a blacksmith's kid. But it's probably something we should at least tell Uther.
Agreed. And I'll stow it in a safe place then.
Sorry, I just read why yikes a thing away with words and a ladle. That got me. Sorry, keep going.
Nah, that's it. That's all.
Okay, you guys can first. Hideon, you were gonna do something.
No, I was away.
Okay.
BRB.
I was away. I just got back. I missed the past 3 minutes.
You guys are there, consorting and talking. Kodiak, you start escorting your companion back to the tavern. As you do, it's kind of bringing back memories that you now realize are visions of your Kalashtar soul that has lived a life that you are yet to live, and you keep picturing these moments that are very similar. You walking arm in arm with her, you going out on quests and doing exactly this, going on caravans together. Eventually, the time where you comfort her when her mother does pass away, and when she sells the tavern and chooses to kind of explore the world with you. And it's kind of bringing back all these weird memories, visions that you're seeing, and being next to her is comforting, but at the same time, it feels distant because she has not experienced any of this. You know that you have, and for some reason her mum gets this weird feeling that she knows and understands you with her infinite wisdom and ladles, but it's just weird being next to someone you feel like you've known for years, Tari, yet she looks at you as if you're trying to hit on her mum. She kind of walks back with you and goes, "So, Kodiak, how is it that you are so well acquainted with my mother?"
She just reminds me of someone I knew before. A bit of history happened.
I mean, there is certainly that, but I see in your eyes almost pain when you look at her, some sort of sadness.
Yeah, I lost someone very dear to me.
I'm sorry to hear
and as much as she reminds me of her, it reminds me of that as well, but she does bring a happiness out in me that I haven't seen in a long time.
I noticed the braid on your hair with the feather. It's quite beautiful.
Did you want to look at it?
I have something quite similar, actually. And she parts her hair that's not braided at the moment. You can see that attached to the center braid, covered by the rest of her hair, there is a very similar feather, but this one is white, and you would recognize this is the one that you will eventually take to become yours when she is taken.
Yeah.
It's not a very common aesthetic, but I find it interesting to find someone else who has something so similar.
Again, I've been through a lot, and maybe it's just a coincidence that we have this. Maybe our paths are meant to cross it somehow.
Perhaps. I think my mother would have hit you with a ladle hearing you say coincidence. She always believes that things happen for a reason.
Yes, and I feel that ladle hit me.
Oh, be careful. It might just.
I think it will.
It has ears and eyes everywhere.
That she does.
Well, thank you for escorting me all the way. It was very gentlemanly of you, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow.
I will see you tomorrow.
Kind of like lets go.
Have a
of
good
your arm,
evening.
Smiles and nods, and heads back inside the tavern. You get this weird feeling like these two burning embers burning into the back of your head. And you look at the top window and you see she's watching you, ladle in hand.
Like that slow kind of like tap into the like other hand, like.
Yeah, smacking it in the other hand. The slow turn.
I just kind of like punch my arm and give her a thumbs up and walk away.
She laughs and heads back away from the window.
He gets it a lot. He knew I was going to hit him.
Yeah, he knew. He knew. I told
Just
him to bring it
lobs.
back before 10. It's 10:01.
Lucky
I'm a bad boy.
Your lucky
I'm a bad
shotguns
boy
don't
doing good
exist.
things. All right.
While that was all happening and everyone's talking, I've been sort of studying what's going on around Hideon, or at least what I'm sensing,
Okay.
because I feel like for my character it's somewhat confusing. Or do I have any understanding of what's happening?
He's kind of just awkward. The whole conversation that was just happened, he seemed awkward, and then when she left, and when Kodiak left, was awkward, and now you're watching him, and he's got nothing to do. He's kind of just awkwardly not doing much. And the aura around him almost seems to kind of accompany that awkwardness. There is that sense of he is definitely a celestial presence, and there is definitely some familiar things visually about his aesthetic that kind of are a bit strange to you. But there is that red line, almost like an encroaching red fuzz around his aura. Like, you've seen another celestial's, you've felt another celestial's aura before, and you've seen it's bold and big and brilliant, but this one seems weak.
Like something's trying to suppress it.
Yeah, it's very weak and futile. Almost as if, not just suppression, but almost changing it, trying to corrupt it.
Interesting.
Yeah, I use the word perverse quite a lot. That's the main descriptor of his aura is his aura is perverse. This divine aura has been sacrileged in some way for him to have a strange kind of form around him. It's slightly off-putting.
Is it concerning?
It would definitely be concerning that a celestial aura is being corrupted by something. Yeah, that's always concerning.
Like, as in, like, would it put fear into my character? Like,
I don't think it would
like...
put fear, but a little bit of like caution, definitely, because you're getting a very familiar feel.
Okay.
Definitely caution. This is an unknown for you. Definitely hits home a little bit, but a little bit of caution around this seemingly unsuspecting figure.
Okay.
Hideon, you'd notice that Malik is just like staring at you this entire time.
Okay.
This very imposing figure has like just locked eyes, not even blinking, as if he's staring into your soul.
Can I try to attempt to like deter him, like, mentally, like from kind of trying figuring me out, to kind of block him out?
What do you mean? How do you want to accomplish this?
I don't know. This is something I'm trying to attempt, is just by obviously, pretending like everything's okay, by looking away, trying to, I don't know, somehow block him out from trying to read.
You get the feeling that he's not reading your emotions on an emotional level. He is literally looking into like you as a being.
Okay.
He is seeing who you are on a base level, and it's strange because no one's ever been able to do that before. This isn't like I'll just hide my emotions. You could act however you want. This guy is seeing into you.
Is it just me and him in the room?
Imagine like Nox and I didn't exactly move too far away.
Imagine Nox and Jet, they went to the study. You guys were in the kitchen eating, so they went to the bedroom, the master bedroom, to read the notes, so they're not there. Okay. Kodiak's off with Tari. Hector is... What are you doing, Hector?
I'm still looking after the guys at the tavern.
Oh, you're still at the tavern?
Yeah.
Didn't you walk us?
Yeah, you walked
Yeah,
back.
didn't you walk back?
She didn't ask you to look after her. Ask Jax. Jax is like a guy in the back room. He's the tavern guard.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, because
Oh,
you walked. Remember, you walked them back.
yes.
Yeah. So you'd be at the estate somewhere. But is there anything
Yeah.
you wish to accomplish before the caravan?
Nah, just rest up.
Okay.
Can I go back to speaking with Malik, if that's all right?
Yeah, sure. Go for it.
Even though there's potentially no one around, I want to speak to him in Celestial. I just want to ask, why do I feel like me and you are quite alike?
It's something I'm trying to figure out myself.
Well, I mean, you kind of came out of nowhere. I wonder why our paths are meeting.
And it depends on whether you believe in fate or not. There's
Oh, he's back.
something
Robot's
very
back.
Robot boy's back.
concerning.
I apologize. I can't understand this language.
He starts to
Guys.
primordial.
Malak, I can't understand.
Oh.
Sorry, I was speaking in Elvish.
What?
Start again. What were you saying?
Yeah, sorry.
You know what's the worst part about all of this is the fact that it's like fine, and then I talk, and then it's like, oh, just give me a sec.
Yeah, you like get one word out. It's like,
100%.
no.
No, this is getting deep. All right, start again.
Cue the music.
I replied to you.
Well, that depends on whether you believe in destiny, my friend. There's something strangely familiar about you, however, something very concerning.
Concerning? Why?
Do you know your mother or father?
Not exactly. No. Do you know my mother?
I laugh. It would be impossible. I have no idea who you are, but it seems you and I are more alike than we think.
When talking to him, do I notice that his celestial is probably not like that good,
It's like,
or is it like?
you know, us Australians. You got Australians who speak,
Yeah.
and then you got like the kind of like the slang Australians. It's almost like he speaks Celestial fine, but it doesn't seem like he's as familiar with the language as you are, and sometimes he'll kind of cut to slang like Celestial Common, like
Okay. Yeah.
Celestial, Comestial, like a mix between them
Celestin.
sometimes.
Celestin.
Celestin, there you go. Like, Chinglish or
Yeah.
Chinglish.
Well, you don't know the word, so you like say something close enough to it.
On the stream.
You would, Connor. You would. See,
yeah.
yikes. Same thing.
I look Malik with both my odd eyes. I just look at him going,
There may be more to you yet. We just don't quite understand.
Well,
And I hope I'm here for when you find that out.
Well, I mean, I appreciate that. But you, I mean, you don't seem to say much about you or where you've come from or anything. Can I ask your story, maybe?
I'm merely someone drifting trying to do good. My father was no more than a man living in a village. And I'm just simply out here trying to do something to help people.
Wait, you're from a village? What village?
I said a village because I can't remember.
No, that's okay.
Your village would have been... it would have been the Bourneshire by the Thistlewoods.
That's what I say.
Right. Why did you leave the village? Did anything happen at the village, or?
Simply my father's time finally came, and when he passed, I felt the need to explore the world myself. See the world through my own eyes.
Right. Is he your real father?
I have known no one else to be my father, and I believe him to be my father, yes.
Okay.
You seem puzzled and confused. Why is that?
Well, I mean, our stories seem quite similar. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little bit frightened at the moment. I'm just trying to figure you and I out.
I walk up to him, I put one hand on his shoulder.
As soon as you touch him, you get this jolt of energy that sparks your hand, zaps your hand, and shoots it off his shoulder. As soon as you do that, your vision goes grey for a few seconds, and you see standing behind him a very beautiful lady dressed in a red gown that seems to bleed into the floor around Hideon. She's almost holding him in a hugging motion and is looking at you like, don't even come close to him. And as you blink away that image, you see he's just standing there still confused, but your hand has this small burn mark in the center that has the symbol of a laughing skull. And as soon as it was there, it fades away.
Oh, by the way, my holy symbol, I actually have it tattooed on me.
Nice.
I decided, like, on my, just over my heart.
Very cool, very cool. Yes, but you would have a laughing skull burned into your hand for a few moments before it dissipated, and this immense pain shoot through your body as you see this vision of this lady in red kind of holding him back.
As that would have happened, Hideon, you would have noticed a general look of like a bit of fear came over my face because it was a shock.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do that. Are you okay?
I think I'm starting to understand.
What do you mean? What are you starting to understand?
I think this is a conversation that's not for you and me to have. I think this is something you might have to find out by yourself, my friend. But you're currently being touched by something that is holding you back. Doesn't want you to realize your true strength, at least. It was a pleasure meeting you and talking to you. However, I feel like this must mark the end of our conversation now. And I'm going to walk away and try and find out where the others went to try and meet them.
Okay. They're kind of just mingling around doing their own thing after Jet and Equinox's conversation. I assume Jet probably wanted to go do his sword thing again.
As I'm leaving the room, like, yeah, Nox, you're either crazy or something else is happening. I don't exactly know, but
I'm not crazy.
Sometimes
I am.
I'm not crazy. I'm just.
Is there any other preparations that anybody would like to have, or conversations anyone would like to have before we go to the next day?
I was hoping to maybe just pick up some just general adventuring gear, if that's possible.
Yeah, I need rations.
Anything specific you'd like to look for?
Actually, I'm looking for an alchemist supply kit, if that's possible to get my hands on.
Definitely go find an alchemist supply kit. Anything else that anybody wants to purchase, get? I'd say actually Hector probably has the most familiarity with the city, having investigated it before to find someone to do his cape, so he might be the best person to ask if there is one in town.
I guess living here just means nothing now.
See, I already know that Jet's gonna want to leave these guys and do his sword stuff, so I've just given up.
I know, actually, I wasn't gonna do it.
You gotta be selfish sometimes, Jake. You've been making armor for us last game, so you should do something for you.
All I did for you guys.
Also, Equinox didn't ask you. He asked if there was anything, and seeing as you were probably leaving to do your sword, he wouldn't have asked you to find that information.
I was gonna go get rations. Okay.
In my, at least, if you want to get rations, you can definitely get rations. They're easy to make, easy to find.
Yeah, if anyone's heading into town.
Supplied, seeing as you are literally going with the daughter of the owner of the tavern.
Yeah. Okay, never know.
I'm going back to my room to pray.
Okay.
To try and find answers.
On
Kodiak, on the way back from dropping Tari off, I wanted to stop at that old lady's shop, who had like the herbs and all that stuff. Do you remember?
Yep. Oh,
yep. I'm gonna stop by there again.
Oh god.
Yes, go to Mildred.
Oh god.
I assume that that's where the alchemist supplies are as well. I might be heading in that direction if possible if I knew this information.
Yeah, Hector went before. Hector, do you want to let Equinox know or go with him?
I'll go with him.
All right, so Equinox.
Thank you,
Hector,
Hector.
I was there. Actually, I think it was us three that were there.
Yep.
Oh,
No,
can I
I
go?
don't think Equinox was there. It was definitely Hector.
I'm
I
pretty
don't
sure I
see
was,
them.
but I stayed outside.
Yes, my bad. Yep. So
Can
you
I
all
go
have
with
Pretty
to-
sure you got kicked outside.
Actually,
you approach and you can see a hut that's built into the side of the wall, kind of mold encrusted roof. Oh boy.
can I go with him, by the way, Connor, to pick up
Yep.
some stuff for
Yep.
Dad's probably hangover.
Yeah. Okay. You guys all approach the exterior of this kind of run-down, mildewed building. A front courtyard of gardens and plants that look vaguely like they could be poisonous. And you approach. The door is closed.
Knock on the door.
Yes, darling. Yes, I'm coming, darling. Wait for me, darling. It's okay.
Oh,
Goes to the door.
God.
Hello, darling. Oh my God. Well, if it isn't you again. Hello, darling. How is everything
Hello.
going?
Been going good.
Good for you, darling. Good for you. Good for me. What do you bring to me today? What do you want? What do you need?
Oh man.
We are
talk like that.
we are on a mission to Lowen.
Darling, I know Lowen. Very good place.
Is there anything that we should need on the way there? Is there anything you would
Darling,
want
everything.
on the
You
way
need
back?
everything and anything, darling. Everything I have, you need, you buy. See, I try to start off Edna, and then it goes racist.
No, that's
Yeah.
fine. It's good. Racist
I-
head and it's fun.
I need something to help with a hangover.
Oh my God, Jet, I have it right here. Your father did not come and
Thank you
pick it up
kindly.
yesterday.
Yeah. he
5
needs
gold
it.
pieces. I give you tonic.
Can you do it for 3?
No, darling, I cannot do it for 3. Do not insult me in my own place.
I'm so sorry. Here you go. Sure thing. I guess I got 5 gold pieces, but
Thank you, darling. She hands you these 2 bottles of miracle tonic.
yeah, miracle tonic, sweet. I still want to see how this plays out though, so I'm watching these guys like, oh,
Yeah.
it's gonna be great.
Is there potions you have for us? Some health potions, some healing potions.
Darling, I have all the potions, darling. But the question is, do you have the gold need of the potions?
What are they worth?
Well, darling, the basic healing potions are going to cost you 25 gold pieces each. The intermediate are going to cost you 50 gold pieces. And the superior will cost you 100 gold pieces. I have 1 superior, 2 greater, and 3 basic.
I'll buy the 3 basic.
Oh, you will. Okay, then.
I'll take one of those greater ones.
Excellent. As a package, that'll be 50 from you, Equinox, and 75 from you, Kodiak.
Mm-hmm.
Darling,
must
it
also
has been a
ask-
pleasure doing business with you, darling.
Also, oh, sorry, you go.
I must also ask, humble apothecary. I am looking for some alchemist supplies.
She leans in, she goes, I like the manners you have learned since last time. I have these supplies, and I will give them to you for a good price.
How much will that be?
35 gold pieces.
Okay then,
Here you go.
that'll do.
She hands you this satchel, very nicely bundled and packed satchel. Has her apothecary symbol on it, which you can't really make out what it might be. It kind of looks like a scribble.
Okay.
But it's a really nice bag with decent alchemist tools inside, all kind of cushioned between different sets of like fur and cushioning to make sure that nothing of the vials or the transferring areas might break. So it's
Perfect.
decent alchemist supply, 35 gold.
Thank you.
You're welcome, darling. Is there anything else that I can do for you today, darling?
I would like to learn off you.
Really? How much time
Yes.
do you have and how much gold do you have?
I have the rest of the afternoon through to the night.
I do not accept apprentices lightly. Do you understand, big burly man?
I do.
I want you to prove to me that you are worthy of my apprenticeship.
Okay.
Is there anything you have that you can show to me?
I show her the notes or like what I've learnt off Uther,
Okay. Roll me a persuasion check with advantage.
because I do have advantage with that.
Yeah, you do.
Oh,
That's all you
You can just click persuasion. You can click advantage
Oh.
on the top of your page, Kodiak, and then click persuasion. So try that again. So first
Yeah,
of all, it's okay. I'm
advantage.
getting people familiar with the roll. So roll that again. Get
Where the
familiar
hell
with
is
the new character
persuasion?
sheets.
There it is.
Anything just these notes, they are bad, but the information in them is good. It can be worked upon. I will teach you through the night. You will be exhausted, you will be tired, and I will run you dry to the bone. Do you understand?
Sounds fun.
Good, 100 gold pieces.
Done.
I
How
like
much
your
money
style.
do you all have? Jesus.
I've only got 19 gold left.
She takes
We
100
got-
gold
did-
pieces and will teach you her ways of the apothecary. What are you specifically, just like alchemy stuff you're trying to learn?
I was trying to finish, get my sufficiency in nature.
Ah, right, yes, you're trying to learn your nature proficiency. Ah, yeah, easy. Yeah, roll me that. Roll me that best. Go for it. Roll me two,
Do I roll the nature
roll me
or
two nature checks, yep. She teaches you.
normal? I better change that to normal.
No, you have advantage because she's teaching.
Advantage.
Okay.
She's a high level teacher.
So,
the one
so just, where is nature? Here it is.
It's right there.
14, and roll again.
Roll again.
It'll just determine how long you get and if you get sleep. Your DC was for... I think you're at 15, so both of those aren't going to work. Next one. It's getting late.
With advantage.
Yeah, with advantage.
Oh,
So it's
here we
taking
go.
some time, taking some time. Afternoon turns to night, night turns to midnight.
Oh, come on.
Midnight turns
buddy.
into late evening turns to morning. One more roll.
Fucking hell.
Come on, buddy.
Just so you know, I'm probably gonna leave.
Okay,
Whoa.
16. That's 16. You now have proficiency in nature. Well done.
I'm probably
Yeah.
gonna leave.
By the morning, with a bunch of welts and bruises and like small explosive marks and rashes from using the wrong materials and some basic infections, you eventually learn proficiency in nature. Before you would have started that though, Mildred would have gone up to you, Hector, and gone, "Your skin, it looks very green. You know, I have tonic for that. I can make your skin nicer.
Oh, that's
I
actually
can make it shine, make it glisten like the sun, like the
That's actually-
sunrise."
I'd actually be very interested in that.
Yes, I have very good tonic and make your teeth. You'll have your beautiful tusk grind down. Why you grind down your tusk? I'm just racist now.
You are now. It's fine. I love it. I love it. I feel at home.
Yeah,
It's like-
I would definitely like to hear more about this tonic that would take the green away.
Excellent, darling. Excellent, darling. I make you glisten, darling.
Thank you.
My
How-
mother's playing D&D now. I've gone from Edna to Shane's Filipino mother. Oh, boy.
That's good.
How much?
Your Edna's good.
Darling, I will give you 5 gold pieces. You'll give me 5 gold pieces. I will give you the tonic.
I was about
That
to
makes more sense.
Deal.
Excellent. And she gives you this facial moisturizing cream made with buckwheat and mold.
Cool. I put it on.
It is meant to depigment your skin.
Cool.
Beautiful.
It has what looks to be a week's worth of uses.
All right. Sweet. Well, I'll put one on now.
Okay, you guys finish off your shopping at Mildred's. God, I forgot she existed. Oh,
You're welcome.
Right.
jeez Louise. Okay. And you guys make your way back to wherever your respective places are that you're making your way back to for the evening. Jet, roll me another dexterity smithing check.
I'll give her a crack.
Yeah, you
I'll
will.
give the tonic
I'll give-
I will. Oh, I got terribly.
Oh, brother.
Bruh.
Yeah, I'm gonna say as it gets late, it gets really late, and as you're doing it one point in the night, you get to a point where you just can't get past the problem you're having. You look at your shadow blade and you look at the normal blade and you're like, no, I can do this, and you're like, maybe I could use my magic, and you start like trying to infuse your magic into the blade so much so that you watch as a crack appears into the metal, unfortunately destabilizing the magic within.
That's okay.
Yeah.
That's okay. At least I made it.
A fail on the thing. Yeah, I mean, everybody else worked. It's just, fortunately,
Yeah.
you're a little bit more judgmental on the own pieces you make for yourself.
I was hoping to get advantage, but that's okay.
If I got a little bit of time left, could I potentially just again go to the library and see if there's anything to do with blocking magic or being
Yes.
able to see
You
with
certainly can.
a scry?
Yeah,
Yeah.
roll me an investigation check with advantage. You've been through these books before, just finding the right book.
Okay.
Jesus.
You know.
Yeah. Warding magic or blocking magic is often used by people who just don't want stuff to either be found or to be seen. Strong warding magic, it makes sense that if your father did head to Starcrest Spire, that there is strong warding magic there, because it is rumored that the dragon that does live on Starcrest Spire, the dragon that was once the king of Chalterra, that was betrayed by humans who then went to hide out and rest in Starcrest Spire, released this eternal fog that surrounded Starcrest Spire to shroud it from prying people who might not be of the best intentions. It makes sense that this might be infused with a barrier magic, some sort of abjuration or protection magic.
Okay, cool.
There are a lot of different types, like, there's shield, mage armor, that kind of stuff. There are warding items that you can get to stop you from being scryed on, so you can get personal trinkets like necklaces and jewelry that stop you from being scryed upon.
Wow.
So when they do scry on you, it just looks like you don't exist.
Cool.
There are stronger warding magic still, like the Wellspring has warding magic, has abjuration magic that when you approach, it turns you around and makes you exit. Like, that's a very powerful, strong magic that not a basic person could have. The warding magic that keeps a smoldering boundary from incurring too much into Farreich by the mages that live there is also quite powerful. But yeah, it makes sense.
Okay,
The reason that the connection went to go through but then got cut off, either because your father doesn't want to be warded. It shows that your father's still alive, at least.
Yeah, okay,
It just
cool.
means that either he doesn't want to be scryed on, or something else is stopping you from finding him.
Yeah, okay. I was afraid he might be in another plane of existence or something as well, so that's
It
good.
does also mean sometimes it can be in a plane of existence, but with this scrying bowl, with this one you have here, this one breaches planes. This one,
Ooh.
because of the history of atmosphere, the continent you live in does not exist in the prime material plane anymore. Scrying is a lot easier. It's harder to scry on the material plane than Nine Hells and the divine plane, but it makes it easier for people to scry on different planes of existence.
Okay,
Only
cool.
because of the history of the world that I've developed here.
Yeah. Nah, cool, man. I love it. That's very informative.
But yeah, you do learn quite a fair bit from a 25. I'd also
Thank
say
you.
looking through these books, you do find, although you're not a wizard, you do actually find instructions on learning the shield spell.
Ah, wicked.
So it's something that could be learnt, although, being a wizard is forbidden unless approved by a higher ranking wizard or the king and his men himself. There are the instructions on how to learn a shield in this book.
All right. I've got shield, but maybe I could give it to somebody else to learn.
As you are now, you can't. Only a wizard could learn from this. This schematic that it has here. This is the
Okay.
schematic for a wizard to learn it and put it in his own spell
Ah,
book.
sick. Yeah, cool.
It isn't something that you can just oh yeah, I can learn and get the magic myself. It is the schematic that would be put in a wizard's spell book or spell container for them to be able to cast it.
Okay. I'll hold on to this.
Yeah. So just
Page or book,
write in
or-
shield spell book.
Okay. Brilliant.
You can find spell scroll spell books. Depends on the book. Like shield itself is quite a it's like a low level spell, but it's quite a breathtaking spell. It is able to protect you, so there is a lot to it. To
Okay.
protection, to guarding, to warding, to increasing your AC, all that kind of stuff.
Okay, cool. Brilliant. That's amazing.
Yeah. Is there anything else that anybody would like to accomplish before we jump over to tomorrow?
No, I am good.
Alrighty.
Sleep if I can.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Everybody goes to respective sleeps. Malik.
I am
Oh.
playing. I'm eating ice cream, so I muted my mic, and then I turned it up to its max, and then I'm like, oh, that's a mistake.
Excellent. Well, your food is cold. I hope you're ready for your heart to be cold. As you lay down to pray, back at the tavern, taking whatever position it is in which you pray, removing your clothes and bindings that cover your chest and your holy symbol, Tehessa. As you outstretch your power in search of guidance, in search of answers, in search of something that will lead you on the right path and what you have to do to answer the questions and quell the confusion, to help stop the fear that was building within your heart from seeing Hideon. As you take your position and you pray, you reach out. What do you say when you reach out? How do you reach out to Hessa?
I pray to her, asking for guidance of how I could help Hideon, or how I should view Desi's, or in what way Hessa herself would reach out to Desi's in a way that's not disrespectful to anyone.
The goddess
And what way
herself being goddess of the hearth, the home, kindness, acceptance. You watch as the fireplace in front of you flickers slightly. The warmth emanates from the fireplace further than the reachers should be able to reach. And as you do, you see a brilliant orange aura glow from the fireplace. It reaches out to even the darkest corners of your room except for one. One corner of your room where the warmth seems to extend. You see a corner of shadow. A corner of darkness that seems to push back, slowly creeping into the warmth that exuded from your prayer, from your connection to your patron, your deity. And as that shadow creeps out, you watch as the warmth recedes back into the fireplace. You watch as the fire still glows, but allows the shadow to be. And as you do, you watch as the black shadow slowly starts to turn red. Through the cracks in the wood of the floorboards of your room, you watch as blood starts to pool from these cracks, as if fresh wounds have just been cut into the skin of the floor. Blood bubbles and seeps and starts to fill the floor of the room. And as you do, you watch as the walls themselves seem to excrete this red liquid. The iron scent hits your nostrils, disgusting and putrid, strong and pushing you back towards the hearth. As you stand there, you watch as the blood pools and glistens and pulls together into a form in the center of a room. A beautiful, illustrious and glowing, a flowing red dress, a pale face with two horns that reach out and pierce a halo that sits atop her head, not hovering but being held aloft by the points of these horns, teetering on a very, very difficult balance to understand. This lady in red looks at you with piercing golden eyes with red pupils.
Is it the same
Pure
person who was holding onto her?
white skin, yes. That looks identical to the person that was holding Hideon, but she stands there now with her hands by her side, looking you up and down as if looking at an animal that had encroached in her territory, just deciding whether or not she needs to teach you your place or scare you away from what it is that belongs to her.
Why is it that you have come here, Tethys? I seek no harm. I seek no offense. I merely seek answers in why Hideon may confuse me so much.
Young child, the ways in the world is strange, and stranger still is your connection to this boy. I do not accept that you have arrived on my doorstep and wish to find information on the one that I have claimed. He belongs to me, he takes his power from me. And you being here, standing before me, standing before Hideon, is a sign that I do not wish to accept. Hessa needs to stay out of my business, whether I've taken her child or not. She will learn that meddling in my affairs has repercussions. I do not wish to strike down the children of other gods, but if you wish to incur my wrath, then prod further into his being. If you wish to keep safe and keep safe all that you hold dear, you will step away from the boy. He has made his decision, has accepted me fully and wholeheartedly. He will not repent, he will not change. He will stay as he is, mine forever.
So just to clarify, he said essentially that he is a child of Hessa, so I know that
She
now.
has said that he is a child of Hessa, yes.
Tethys, you come here when I bear no ill will to you. I simply had questions, but you now answer me, telling me that Hideon is also a child of Hessa, as am I. How do you suppose I abandon, if not a brother of my own? You wish me to abandon him, and I cannot. I wish to incur none of your wrath. But as there is the devil in you, I see there is also the goddess. And I will not prod any further into business that is my own. But I also wish that you would grant me this. Simply let me get him, let me know him more. Let me find out more about him. Especially if this is true, and he is also a child of Hessa. That makes him family to me. And at least I should be able to protect him.
Roll a persuasion check.
Okay.
Oh, so close.
You wish to get to know him. Your touch will harm him. Your presence will ache his bone. Your mere sight of you will confuse the boy. He does not wish to extend out and know what he doesn't already have. He does not need brothers or sisters. He does not need family. All he needs is me. He is
And
not
on my
your
word.
brother any longer. As soon as he abandoned his grandmother, he became a child of mine, relinquishing all ties he has to you and your kin.
Then, on my word, I will not tell him anything that I know. All I wish is that you allow me to be around him without it hurting him. That is all I ask.
Do not overstep your bounds, Malik, grandson of Hessa, or you will find you are not the only one who suffers. And you watch as the blood slowly filters from the dress. The white itself seems to rip from the face like a mask, and bones clatter to the ground, turning to ash, the remnants of her appearance dissipating as the hearth once more flutters to life, its protection over you barely holding on against the might of a stronger, more powerful entity. The warmth once more fills the room around you as the blood fades and the walls return to normal. Any sign of her presence gone. Any sign of her being there no longer apparent.
I thank Hessa for protecting me in that instance, and I shall finish.
Okay. And as you all bed down to rest for the night, unless there's anything last that needs to be done,
Nope.
we come to in the morning, fresh and awake. Some of you a little bit more tired and confused than others, ready for the day ahead, ready for your next mission on the road. All right, you guys head to the tavern.
Yes, I'm leaving the enchanted scimitar failure project at the blacksmith
Okay. Sounds good.
because if it's not working anymore, then kind of leave it there just to remember that it's there.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Breakfast is served at the tavern as thanks for your arrival. You were all given 100 gold pieces up front for your services. You can see that Nan is
Nice.
currently cooking a storm, feeding people, hobbling around. You can see that the guard of the tavern, Jax, is kind of like eyeing her carefully every time she might like hobble or stumble. He'll come over to help and she'll bunk him with the ladle. He's got a few bruises, but is very, very much worried for the old lady's safety. She looks a little bit more frail. Even in the matter of a day, she seems to have lost a little bit of weight, lost a little bit of lifespan, but not lost that charisma and happiness that she drives forward as she comes around, humming, singing, serving food, smacking people on the ass with one of her spare ladles. And as you guys prepare, you can see that there are a few of the hunters You can see the hunter's son. You can see a few of the other older gentlemen. You don't see Hunter himself, but there's about 4 of them in the scouting party eating off to one side, whereas you have your group of Kingsmen with Malik kind of eating to the other. Jet, you and the hunter's son themselves kind of finding a table to yourselves just to eat and catch up and get ready. And as you guys prepare for the day, you can see that Kodiak, you can see the staircase, you can see that everybody is here, all but one. You see that Tali is not currently present. Tari, my apologies, goddamn. Tari is currently not present. You do watch, however, as later on in the morning, the door upstairs open and you see a finely clad, armored female with her hair tied up into a braid that hangs down her back, her white hair down her back to her hips. You can see the very prominent feather hanging from the edge, and as she stands at the precipice of the edge of the staircase and kind of leans on the edge and looks down over you, kind of judging the men coming with her. Beautiful kind of white and silver armor over her shoulder, coming down across her chest. Kind of like an almost, like a half like an armored dress with that kind of splits between the legs, so that gives her legs freedom to move, and a very heavy mace on her back. You can see that although she normally has her normal makeup that she wears, that she applies to everyday work, she is instead kind of coveted more of like a black and blue eye rub to show a more intimidating visage and a slight lip line on her lower lip. She looks out over her piercing gaze, even more piercing now. Stance proud and strong as she stands there and she looks over everybody. And although her voice is soft, as soon as she speaks, everybody can hear and is drawn to the attention of her voice, even the nobles. She goes, "Well, it seems as if we're ready to move. The caravans are prepared. Our mercenary Kingsmen are here with the supply of Malik. Our hunters are ready to scout, and our noblemen are looking fine as they always do." The noblemen kind of give a smile and a nod at the compliment. She looks around and meets eyes with you for a second, Kodiak, kind of eyes falling on that black feather by your side. "I'll be at the front of this caravan. Accompanying me will be Kodiak and Jet. At the back we will have Hideon, Hector, Equinox, and Malik. The nobles will be in the center of the caravan where it is safer. The huntsmen will be at the front, scouting, and behind, making sure we aren't being followed. If this is understood, raise your glasses, take a drink, and say aye."
Aye.
Excellent. God damn it, Jet.
Hearing her say my name as well, I look down and do like a shy smile.
Excellent. Then if we are ready, finish your meals, meet at the caravan, and we will leave within the hour. She comes down the stairs, pick up a tankard of ale, gives you all like a cheers in the air, takes a big old swig and drink from it, puts it down. "What are you doing drinking so early in the morning?" "Mother, it's a preparatory thing." "I'll show you preparatory. Put that drink away." Fine, puts the drink down, and then Nana comes over and finishes it for her. Tari then leaves and heads to the caravan to prepare herself. And as she does, and as you all follow to take your places, and the caravan leaves the safety and the gates of the newly protected Far Reich, thanks to the Kingsmen, you all head out on your journey for Lowen. Roughly around 2 weeks' journey, with no problems and steady riding. You guys will be there quite soon, and beginning your march southwards towards the Starcrest Spire, in hopes to find the answers to all the questions that are up in the air. And with that, we'll start the prologue and inaugural kind of live stream game of Kingsman there, guys.
Yeah,
Excellent.
Hey.
Damn, it is good to be back in Kingsman.
Oh, heck
It
yeah.
is. It's so
Agreed.
good.
I feel like we're gonna have to do some sort of like welcome to Kingsman lore thing now, just to kind of make sure that the people looking understand a little bit of the lore behind Kingsman, which will be good. But god damn, it's good to have our characters back.
Heck
Oh,
yeah.
I love it.
Wait till
Well
we
done,
start
guys.
battling.
Yeah.
Fuck.
God. I am nervous for that, guys. I mean, last big bad guy you fought for the first arc got stunned for 7 rounds and then curb stomped.
And
You're
then jaw
welcome.
broken. And jaw broken.
Thanks for coming, guys, and joining us in this isolated game of Dicesolation. We hope you enjoy Kingsman, our proper D&D Dark Fantasy, although it was like a little bit more chipper this time. But yeah, we'll be diving more into the lore, into the world of Chalterra, the job of Kingsman, the state, and the continent of atmosphere floating above the sky and the plane of air. And so we will continue our journey next time, next Saturday. But we'll see you guys on Tuesday for our regular anime SAO fantasy game. And I'll be picking this game up every Saturday. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Players, thanks for joining me on this wonderful game, and thanks for being so amazing.
Anytime.
See you guys soon. Take care. Wash your hands. Look after each other.
And
Take care,
find my
everyone.
dad.
We must find my family.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, guys.
Where is he?
Alrighty.
Thanks,
Bye,
guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.